Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. It is 7 o'clock Central Time, Sunday evening. Time for more Sunday night shenanigans here on Sunday Night Live Chat. Episode number 112. Holy cow, it's crazy. So, looks like we're connected everywhere, I think. We'll see. YouTube's been pretty good. Facebook's been pretty spotty, but it looks like we are functioning. So, we'll see what happens. Norma's on with us right out of the gate. Says hit the like button. Appreciate that. As always, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube, so I will be watching both formats. I've got two screens I'm keeping an eye on. So when we do trivia, auctions, things like that, please remember I am watching both formats, and just because you don't see a bid pop up on your format, it's probably on the other one. So keep an eye on both of them. Steve's on right now, made it to a live. Glad you're here. So what's happening out there? Looks like some people starting to get their notifications. Jess and Rico are here. Bill's on. Anthony's on. Big Job made it. Pete's here. So YouTube's ticking along here. Old School made it. So looks like the notifications are definitely out on YouTube now. Scott's on Facebook. So Facebook is functioning, which is saying something. So we'll see how long it continues, but for the time being, Facebook is functioning. So we're going to call that a win for now. Jim's here. Anthony, raining in BC, or should I say rusting? Yeah, yep. Dan's on. Bill Alderman's on. Glad you're here. Lots of familiar faces jumping on with us again. Still amazes me week after week that you guys get on, participate, and turn this thing into what it is. Rick from North Carolina is on Facebook with us. Bill from right here in Kansas is on Facebook, as well as Don from Nashville. Bill says hit the like and subscribe button. Absolutely. Thanks for that, Bill. Old School needs to rebuild his car's AC compressor. Must be getting warm up north as well. Alec from New Hampshire's on. So another great group building quickly tonight. I always appreciate that, and appreciate your guys' participation. That's what makes this thing what it is. Dennis is on YouTube. Chris is on YouTube as well. So let's see, make sure we're caught up here. Joe's on Facebook. Kevin, yep, it is Sunday night, Kevin. Glad you're here with us. But anyway, been a long week for me, I know that. But been looking at a little bit of the results from Mecum Indy. Looks like at least the first few days was still pretty strong there. My good buddy Jim Wicks is there, but I haven't talked to him since the sale started. I talked to him right before he was getting ready to pull into Indy, I think Thursday night. But from what it looked like the first couple of days, they were solid. Usually the first couple of days are, kind of the more average type cars as they build up to next weekend with the heavy hitters. But there again, just like what we've been seeing in the market, everything's been strong, and that's kind of what we're seeing once again. So I don't know how long it's going to continue. Don't know if this gas price situation is going to affect it. But so far, the first couple of days of Mecum Indy looked like it was off to a solid start. So Bill Alderman, is just good to be a nobody. There you go. I guess that's one way to put it. Rusty James is on. So that's the big thing to watch this week. Obviously, a lot of heavy hitter cars coming up in Indy as the sale builds up to next weekend. I haven't been there in a couple of years. We went 2 years ago and the year before that. I didn't go this year. We didn't go last year. But so I've been there a couple times, and it's cool to see some of those heavy hitter cars that you don't see all the time. And like I said, there's some of those coming up later in the week, so we'll be curious to see what those big dollar cars do and what kind of, whether the market is going to reflect any changes or if everything's still going to be super strong from what we've been seeing. So, Kevin, William, we used to be somebody, but now we're all nobodies. Old School gas is $2.08 a liter, doubled in 2 months up in Canada. William, great video on the sheet metal find and the Pontiac trade. Yeah, that Grand Prix, I've been needing to get that up. I've got, I got a lot of stuff to pick up. Mayor Spreadings is on with us. Zach from North Carolina just jumped on Facebook as well. But so yeah, that's that Grand Prix. I'd been needing to get that video done. I mean, that was a month ago. We did that deal. I just hadn't taken time to show you guys the Grand Prix. The part situation has been crazy too. Obviously, we had the stuff from Lawrence Swap Meet. got that buddy of mine who's been thinning some stuff out. And in fact, he called me Friday night and he's got another pile ready that he wants to sell. So not totally sure what we're going to get into in that, but I got a long ways to go to get the stuff picked up that I've already bought, but he's got more stuff laid out. So I'm going to go check it out and see if it's anything there that I can do anything with. So, Steve, if that was a 68 Grand Prix, he'd have to be out here looking it over. Brandon, gas is $4.74 in Decatur, Illinois. Anthony, oh yeah, thanks for the sheet metal video. And there's actually more to come on parts, that's for sure. Pete says the 67 Grand Prix is a great car, but even better all the F bodies. Yeah. Old school diesel is $5.70 a gallon, just like it is here. So that sounds comparable then. From Canada to US on diesel. Big job. Maybe Dean Martin's song, You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You, could be your theme song. Now that might work. Except you get into copyright issues on YouTube, so you got to be careful about that. But Anthony says, fingers drunk already. I said, you must be thirsty. Anthony must be ready for that, which we are 6 minutes in, and I ain't giving you a Hudson badge yet, so I guess we better get rolling on that. Keep you guys ready to go and get things rolling tonight. Big job's ready. So anyway, we'll see how things go tonight. I'm pretty tired. It's been a long week. It's been a long week, and it's been a very long weekend. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep the last couple nights, so we'll see if I can make her tonight. But it has been a long week, and we also lost one of our good friends this week that always went to Meekum with us and did a lot of car stuff with us. So we lost him this week, so that happened Friday. So we've been dealing with that this weekend, and that that always sucks when you lose somebody that especially one of your close-knit group of car buddies. So we've got that to deal with too. So that's added some to the plate for this weekend, but it's okay. We want to make sure we send them out right, so we're working on that as well. So everybody's ready to go. Everybody must have been sitting there just waiting for me to pop that up. So so like I said, I'll be curious to see what those big cars do at Indy here at the end of the week. Some of the Shelbys, some of the Cobras, things like that, and see what kind of, if this gas price or any of this stuff is going to affect the market on this stuff. So far, it's been doing well. So we'll see what happened. I appreciate everybody saying that, everybody's condolences on that. Yeah, it sucks. And like I said, we went to both Indies together, and he, and he does, all the Meekums we went to. I think they've been going to Meekums with us for 5 or 6 years, everyone we went to. So, I don't know if we were going to go to Tulsa. We haven't brought it up to see if we're still going to go to Tulsa, but it's definitely going to be different. I know that. But anyway, it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. But that's all we can do is give him a good send off next week and go from there, and hopefully get ready for the next auction and function through it without him. So let's see. Bill Alderman, Indy show going to be televised? I'm sure there is. I have not looked to see what the television package looks like for Indy. But it usually by the end of the week, this first weekend, there's not a lot televised with it typically, but by the end of the week, when they get into those big cars, they usually have pretty decent TV coverage on that. I think Motor Trend has it right now, if I remember correctly. I think Motor Trend has Meekum's TV package. That's what Bill Wagman says. Yep, on Motor Trend Live. So there will be some Indy coverage coming up later this week that will be worth checking out. Or you can always watch it on on the computer too. You can log into Meekum.com and you can watch live there. So. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. We'll see if everybody keeps waiting for this market to start slipping a little bit, but everything still seems to hang in there pretty solid so far. So we'll see how things go and what happens. So Kenny's on with us. And that's right, the Indy 500 coming up as well. So lots and lots of things happening. So that's one thing about this time of the year. There's never a shortage of stuff going on. Something else I saw in the news this week that was interesting. Shopcat's here. Just waiting in the car for the family. Brandon, 48 Chevy Fleetmaster wheels, are the truck wheels the same? I don't know. The half ton might be the same, but I'm not sure if the offset and everything is correct. I think the bolt pattern is the same, Brandon, but I'm not sure if the offset, the width, and everything is the same as pickup. Alec, how long is the auction? Indy started Friday, and I think it goes till next Sunday. So it's a long sale, but they run a ton of cool stuff through there. So I think it started Friday and goes till next Sunday. Big job. Fuel prices really affecting us in the paving business. Yeah, that's exactly right. And your roads are going to be neglected because the government isn't doing what they should be with your gas tax money. That's another good point too, as far as road maintenance. Gabriel, everyone, Sunday's almost over. Hope you had a great weekend. Honor to be here with the live stream. Well, it's because you guys are here. That's what makes it happen. Sebastian's on with us. Bill Wagman, I want to know what the Weld Modified brings local car for us. Old school, how much money sent to Ukraine? Yeah, that's another good question too. So, and Anthony says over 3,000 vehicles. Yeah, that's what Mecum Indy has advertised, over 3,000 vehicles, and they run a ton of stuff through there, and there is a lot of cool stuff there. Bill Alderman looking pretty imperial next to the Atlantic. So anyway, you guys thirsty? Something else I kind of noticed in the news, just a tidbit of industry news here that popped up. That there's talk of the Scout coming back. Anybody remember the International Scout from back in the 60s and 70s? You know, they're getting crazy popular now, kind of following up along behind the first generation and second generation Broncos, things like that. Saw a deal pop up that said the Scout might be coming back. And so I clicked on it, and actually Volkswagen now owns the name Scout. So from what I'm reading, Volkswagen says they're going to build a Scout, an electric Scout type vehicle, and call it a Scout, but it's going to be a Volkswagen now instead of an International. So I thought that was kind of odd. Let's see. We get caught up in comments. Sebastian, I got to make it to a Mecum. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to catch a Mecum. You definitely want to catch some Mecums. They're a lot of fun. That's why we go. They're a lot of fun. That's why we started. My partner and I started our auction because I had so much fun at Mecums. So they're a good time. You get to check out a ton of cool cars. If you don't buy a car, you still get to see a ton of cool cars. And you still get to see them go across the block. Old school electric Scout, LOL. Yeah. Kenny, big surprise. Our government not spending our tax money properly? Yeah, no kidding. Shopcat says, yep, VW owns the vestiges of International. So then maybe they own some other International names as well. Bill Alderman took his girlfriend, now wife, to prom in a Scout. Pete had an 80 Scout too, been looking to get another one, but they're ridiculously priced. Yeah, Scouts have gotten bonkers, just like the Broncos have. So, Shopcat for U.S. only, but under Scout as a brand, not VW. Concept sketches look true to the International. So they're looking at calling Scout the brand possibly. So I guess that would be kind of cool. Chris, love Scouts. Hope they do, but don't make it like the Bronco. Yeah. So I just like the other comment that it looks pretty true to the Scout. Hopefully that's what they do, is keep it true to the Scout to make it what it is. Alex, I saw a new model of a tribute to a 70s Chevelle. That I have not seen. That's a badge. So, we'll see if they're actually going to make it, and two, if it looks like a cool Scout, or, somewhat modern version of what the Scout should be, and just kind of like the comment that Chris just made on Facebook, don't make it like the Bronco. To me, the new Broncos don't look anything like what a Bronco that I remembered would look like. So, Zach, International Harvester was bought by Navistar and then by VW. So maybe there's some other old school International names that they own. So they'll start making another KB1 or something. Who knows? Sebastian, I'm not keeping my hopes up for the Scout. It always tends to be a letdown. Yeah, and that's true. That's why I said, well, there isn't anything we can do but wait and see if they're going to produce it and if they're going to make it, true to the original. Norman, did you ever get the nobody shirts in? No, I called my guy the other day. He did not have them done yet on the mediums and the triple X's. So I'm hoping here in another week or two. I'm just like we talked about last week. It's the middle of car show season, and that's primarily what he does. Like I said, he's probably the best in the country as far as car show T-shirts, drawing hot rods, things like that. So I know he's swamped, but I did check in with him this week, and he said it's still probably going to be another couple weeks. So as soon as some of you that have paid for mediums and for triple X's, I will get them out as soon as I get them here. Otherwise, as soon as they get here, I'll let you know in case you're waiting to order one. Still have large XL and double XL in stock. So don't have them yet, but they're hopefully on the way. Jason made it. Glad you're here, Jason. Frank, Blacktop's made from oil. Yep, that's exactly right. Shopcat, the 70 Chevelle concept has been floating around for a while. Not from GM. It's just somebody else's pipe dream or sketch. So, Jim, I saw an old 60s Ford pickup called the Explorer. Yep, they used that name clear back in the 60s. Lee from New York's on with us. Brandon says, where's number one? Not sure where he's at. Kenny loves his nobody shirts. Well, good. I'm glad you do. No problem, Normal. Like I said, as soon as I get them, we'll get them out. But just waiting for him. Like I said, I don't want to push him because I know he's swamped. So, and like I said, for as good as this guy is, I'm actually glad that he agreed to do my shirts because this guy is, like we talked about, the Roadster Pilot line is his, as well as he does a lot of NSRA shirts, things like that. So, Hudson Badge. Anyway. There's a few other things that have been going on. We were talking about the sheet metal parts. I've actually got a whole nother load of sheet metal that I bought that I don't think I've shown you that video yet either. From a place that used to be kind of a small salvage yard, but there's only about 15 or 20 cars left there. But there was an old building. The building is basically gone. It just basically fell down around all these parts, but tons of sheet metal in there. I bought everything that was laying there. Piles and piles of doors, hoods, fenders, header panels. I basically filled my trailer last week with doors from 60s and 70s Chevy and Ford pickups, like 25 doors, just on that load. And there's a lot more stuff in there. So, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff does have some rust in it, like I said, at least on the first load. I don't know how much of it was. Some of this stuff was sunk in the ground. Some of it looks like he may be sitting up on wood. But don't know till I get in there and start digging. So I need to get that video up for you. There's going to be tons more sheet metal coming in on that deal as well. Pete, would that guy be the one to make stickers too? I don't know. I didn't ask him. I need to double check and see. Let's see. Bill says, yeah, we need to get on that. That's true. Heads and badge. All right. Just looks like we're caught up other than some of you guys chatting amongst yourselves. So I don't want to miss anybody, and I do apologize because sometimes there's a lot of stuff that gets scrolling when a lot of you guys are saying hi to each other. So if I miss a comment in that, I apologize. Just throw it up there. And as always, double check your autocorrect, please. If your autocorrect changes something before you hit send and I can't make out the comment, then, I'm going to have to skip it. So please double check your autocorrect. As always, you guys are great about trolls. So keep an eye on trolls and run them off. I'm going to ignore them because they're trying to get my attention. So you guys do a great job of reporting them and running them off. As well as if you're on the Nobody's Show page on Facebook, I cannot see your comments. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page. So if you're on the Nobody Show page on Facebook and you just want to watch, that's perfectly fine. If you want to participate in trivia, participate in the auctions, you'll have to be on the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook or the Nobody Show channel on YouTube. Those are the only two sets of comments that I can see. So please remember that. Throw a share out there. Let your friends know that we're on and see if they want to jump in and hang out with us while we're going tonight. Super chats are great. I mean, sometimes you guys throw out super chats also, which is amazing. Those are always appreciated. But anyway, that's kind of what I had to discuss for open chat. It looks like we're somewhat caught up. Kenny says, don't forget to hit the like button. Appreciate that. Anthony from the rainy left coast right now. Not dry out here. Not with the Hudson badge. Jason Kiss for going to get his address. Oh, no problem, Jason. Just whenever and I can get that to you. Bill Alderman doors, hubcaps looked organized. Yeah, the stuff that I'm getting from my buddy's place was extremely organized. This other batch is a pile, so which makes it real difficult to try to pull stuff out of there. Some of the stuff isn't going to be worth hauling in. It's a challenge to get this other load. And you'll see when I get the video up on it how big of a mess it is. So, Shop Cat, I got Goldie Hawn running around Friday night. Fuel leaks everywhere. Fuel leaks aren't good, so I hope you get those found. Big job. I heard YouTube takes almost 45% of super chats. It's not. I don't think it's quite 45%, but they take an awful lot. They do take a pretty good chunk of it. I think it's closer to a third than a half, but it's a lot. So anyway, before we get into the badges and ornaments and emblems, I'm going to throw another one of that badge up there and see what you guys think of that. But tonight, as always, we're got a couple of emblems to look at. We'll start off with an earlier one, and then we'll move up a few decades to a newer one. Pete, how long do you think some of that at your buddy's place has been hanging there? He moved there in the late 90s. And he said some of that stuff he brought with him when he moved in there in the late 90s. So some of that stuff has been in there for close to 25 years. So that, and like I said, he's looking at the possibility of moving, trying to thin some stuff down. And I'm getting some of the stuff I'm getting is not very great. Some of it's just average stuff, but I'm getting some pretty cool stuff as well. So, if you guys had a chance to check out some of the pictures on Facebook where I had the still pictures on some of those grills and things like that, if you have time to check that out. Of course, you can always stop the video too if you need to look, or just give me a shout if there's something specific you see. Give me a call. We can sure look at it. So, let's see. Kenny, wow, good grief, won't be sending you a super chat. Yeah, I know. That's one thing about it. They take a chunk. He'll just send me some extra money. Okay, that's cool too. I appreciate that, Kenny. But getting into the badges and ornaments tonight, we're going to start off with a real unique one. I don't think we've looked at this one before. Some of this stuff's starting to get a little confusing. One of these days, and it may be, one of these days, we may have looked at this one too. I don't know. I don't remember. But the one I got pulled out tonight, and I know you guys will tell me if we have looked at it. Even if we have looked at this is a cool one. We'll look at it again. Is the Erskine. Did we do this one before? I don't remember. It was laying out of the box, and I'm trying to throw everything we've done in one box, but I don't remember. But anyway, this is a 1929 Erskine. The Erskine was a low-price car with a slogan, "The Little Aristocrat," was set up by Studebaker, named after the president of the Studebaker Corporation. So this is a cool little badge. Big job. Might as well send you friends and family from PayPal. Yep, that would work. Norma says she doesn't remember it. Maybe, and I don't either. Like I said, I'm getting so many of these badges laying around. It's getting me messed up. So I'm trying to throw them after we get done. I'm throwing them into one box. So Sebastian prefers the look of the Erskine. The Erskine had a 40-horse six-cylinder and was introduced at the Grand Palais in Paris in October of 26. And then at Olympia in London and next in New York. The Erskine sold well in Europe, but did not meet expectations in America, partly due to its small size and at a price significantly higher than its main competitors. By May of 1930, the Erskine name was dropped and the car was absorbed into the Studebaker line. Erskine also produced a half-ton van in 28 and 29. So, well, Alex says he's never seen it before. To somebody, okay, so perfect. I was really kind of worried that this is one we'd done. I obviously looked this up on my new favorite website, American Auto Emblems. That's where I got the little bit of text. This one being a 1929 Erskine. Alex says do a close-up on it. Okay, we'll see if we can get it up here a little bit closer for you guys to get a little better look at it. Let's see. Lori says, nope, she hasn't seen it. Kenny hasn't seen it. Okay, cool. I'm going to do it one of these times. I know I'm going to grab something we did 3 or 4 months ago, and I know you guys will let me know. So, but Kenny says he has CRS, so it doesn't matter. So I guess I can just keep recycling them after the. This badge is 2 1/8 in diameter. So it's 2 1/8 inches across. It was pressed on the back like a lot of these had the button on the back where they pressed them flat to hold it back against the radiator shell. Jason's trying to buy it, but this one's not. I'm not going to sell this one. Big Job says that's a funky name, but yeah, it was like I said. It was named after the president of Studebaker at that time, Albert Russell Erskine. that's where it came from. Alex, there's not a lot of colors, but like it. Is that the model year on it? This one was a 29. They made them from, let's see, up until 1930. From 1926 to 1930. So they were not made for very long. Steve, always love the detail in the old porcelain inlay emblems. Yeah, that's what's great about them. Problem is that costs me a ton of money because I have hundreds of these things because they're so cool. Jason says, I figured I would since I ain't here yet. Big Jeff says, do the Erskine. Let's see. Alan, faced with losing control of Studebaker, Erskine killed himself in 1933. Interesting little tidbit. Kenny digs it. So they didn't quite get into that kind of detail on here, but that is an interesting fact that's what happened to him. Just a few short years later. Bill Alderman, Ford Model A price undercut the Erskine, and that it didn't say specifically Model A, but there again, right here, partly due to its small size and at a price significantly higher than its main competitors. Main competitor would probably be Ford, so that's a great point, Bill, and I'm sure you're right on that because they didn't get into that much detail, but that would fit exactly right along the lines of with what we're talking about. Anthony's trying to buy it too. Well, we've got a few badges tonight, but not this one. Tony, that was the name of my junior high school. Anthony's getting thirsty. We can't hold you guys up on that either, so we better throw that one up with it. So there's a little bit of history on the Erskine, the short-lived model of Studebaker named after the president of the corporation. Most Erskine badges looked similar to this. There were a few that, of course, they only made them for about 5 years, so there weren't a ton of them out there, although they did make a truck as well, which had a different badge. But most of them were round and blue. Some of them did not have the clover on them. Some of them just said Erskine. But, there was probably, I think they had 6 or 8 different ones on the American Auto Emblem website, and most of them were, a variation of this blue, white, and black round badge. So pretty much that's what they used on most Erskines except the trucks. And they also made, and this one we don't have not gotten yet, a Studebaker Erskine porcelain too. Those are really tough to find. So that does it for the old badge tonight. Now, as always, we're going to jump up a little bit in years. These are new on stock, so whoops. Oh, there's an extra one in there. Forgot about that. We'll do that one next time. Lance is here. These emblems are cool. I like them. I've always grown up around these cars, so as you can guess, it's probably a Buick piece. These are some new ones that we ordered years and years ago. Dad ordered them when they were still available from GM. And I actually ordered some for his car, then ordered extras, and I ended up with a pair of them here on the Buick GS Emblems. Always thought these were cool. Alec have a couple of diecast models of Studebakers, and he thinks one of those was the Erskine trucks. Number 1 says, did I win? Nope, you didn't, but people were asking about where you're at, so we were starting to wonder. Shopcat's got to bail off. Kenny, Ma just told me her my great aunt was a huge Studebaker fan. So anyway, this GS badge was used from about 67 to 68 up until about 72 on the Buick Grand Sports. I always thought this was a good-looking emblem, an aggressive with the forward slant with the red GS letters on them. So I always thought that was neat. But Big Jobs, he's having a steak and a beer. Doesn't get much better than that. So I've always liked these badges. There's different variations of them. The GSX used this as a base with a big white X on it. But this was your basic, this was a fender badge, not a trunk badge, although the trunk emblem is essentially the same size in that 70, 71 window. But good looking piece. Number 1 says it was fish and chip night, ran out of lemons. Jason's trying to buy this too. Tony's got a pair of them as well. So just like me, I got a pair of these things. My dad's got a 70 GS convertible. And so I've always kind of grown up on these cars. He did that car in the early 80s, back when, the muscle car stuff was not near what it is today. You just liked them and wanted one. And So I ended up with a pair of these in my big badge collection. Thought, they're kind of different. Obviously, they're new, so they're in great condition. Beautiful chrome, paint's nice, and just a good looking emblem. I thought it was definitely worth acknowledging, talking about a little bit, and seeing what everybody else thought. So, Steel Ponies, Jeff Taylor, a little late, but hello everyone, glad you made it. Everybody's trying to buy these too. Number one was GS automatic and GSX manual. They were both available either way. You could get a stick or an automatic in either one. Just depends on how they were ordered. The GSX was available on a GS 455 or on a GS Stage 1. They did make both. My buddy's GSX was a GS 455 car. Not the Stage 1. That came either way. You could order the regular 455, which a Buick 455 had enough torque to pull about 4 tree stumps out at once. Or the Stage 1, you could get the Turbo 400 automatic, or you could get the 4-speed manual. Either way, in the GSX package or on a GS, you could get a GS 455, a GS Stage 1, automatic, 4-speed, didn't matter. So, Lori, Regal and Riviera, yes. A little later on down the road, they did make Regal GSs as well. They made Riviera GSs starting in 1965. The GS Rivieras actually used a badge similar to this on a boat tail. And as a matter of fact, it's basically the same emblem. However, there is a difference on the 71 to 73 Riviera boat tail GS badges. Badges the same size, same configuration. However, instead of red in here, they are gold on the 71 to 73 boat tail GS Rivies. So that's kind of another interesting point as well. Brandon, Buick's okay, but Cadillac's better. Big Job digs it. Tony, 67 was the best looking one. I do like 67 GSs as well. Anthony, no, Dad's car's an automatic, 455 automatic. Sebastian, it should always be an option for automatic or manual. Number one was his and her shifter available in Buick or just Olds and Pontiac primarily. I don't think Buick ever had it available as an option through Buick, but Pontiac and Oldsmobile did. So Buick was its own shifter and console configuration. So kind of a neat piece. Like I said, they're new, they're original in the GM boxes, and good looking emblem, muscle car era type stuff. But like I said, we try to mix it up, throw some different things in. That's the point of it. We're talking about different things. We're learning about different things, and you guys have a lot of input on them, and that's what matters. That's what counts. So. Number one, 67 LeSabre looks like the villain car in spy shows. Yeah, it kind of does. Alec, like the red, do you have multiples? I've got a pair. I don't know how many Dad has left. Dad may have a bunch of these left. I don't know, but I've got a pair right here that I had in my box of emblems. So we'll put those out of the way. Glenn made it. He's late from work. That's all right. Glenn, you're here now. That's all that matters. So who's ready for some auction time? We got some different stuff on the auction tonight, and we got some interesting things to talk about on the auction tonight. I don't know where everybody wants to start or what we want to do. I've got kind of a mixture of stuff tonight. Big Job, speaking of Dad, how's he doing? Slow but sure. He's starting to walk a little bit, trying to walk a little bit, without crutches, especially if he's got somewhere we can hold on and kind of start relearning his balance and things like that to get, keep getting weight on that new ankle, slowly starting to get it some, muscle built back up around it and things like that. So, but it's going the right way, at least. Just a long, slow process when it gets into something. They basically, like I said, they had a chunk of it, looked kind of like a unibit, like it was a teepee that they drove up into his leg bone because there wasn't enough leg bone left to attach the ankle to. So they had to put this extra piece in there and then attach the ankle to it. So it's pretty major deal, and it's just going to take some time to make sure that bone grows around the new parts, holds it all together, and because obviously if he breaks it, it's bad. So, Joe, Diamond T badge coming up for sale. No, we're out. I'm out of what I'm selling. That's for sure. Sebastian's ready. The auction. Norma's ready. Number one, did they give him his old parts replaced? I don't think so. I don't think he does. Number one says, always make the shop give me the broken parts so I can see they did the work. We could see it on the x-ray, so I know we had that going. But auction box. Oh, holy cow, it's heavy. Obviously, like last week, we probably won't go through all this, but we're definitely going to start selling some cool stuff off. Joe's starting the bid at 200 on a Diamond T badge. I better try to find another one then. Let me find a couple of things here first that we're going to sell, and I need to explain some things about what's going on with them. Here we go. Here's what we're looking for. Kenny says, sell the heavy stuff. Alex says, hope his shows up tomorrow. It's all on the way to you, Alec. The only thing that I didn't get shipped was, Joe, your stuff. I didn't get out. I got your check Friday, but I didn't get one of those needs to be drained. And I didn't have time to get it drained and let it drain for a little bit before I threw it in a box. So your stuff is still here. It's all in one stack ready to go. But Bill, where's Gray Kitty at? Up on top of the fridge. Hey, Gray Kitty. She's curled up in a ball. She ain't paying no attention. Anthony, if you did it, you bought it. Eloy made it. Kenny says number one's paying for all the shipping. Anthony says let's drink for Gray Kitty. So, okay, there we go. But anyway, Sebastian called me last week, or about a week ago. He bought a batch of badges, and there were some duplicates in there. So we worked out a deal. He said, I'm going to send them to you, and let's sell them. And then we worked out something that was fair for both of us so that we both got something out of it. But like I told Sebastian, I said, you'll probably just buy more stuff with it. And he goes, yeah, you're probably right. So Josh June, I have a 42 Ford. Love this channel. Glad you do, Josh. Glad you're hanging out with us. So I've got two badges. We're going to start off with one of them, then we're going to sell the other one. These were both sent in by Sebastian. Like I said, we worked out a deal, so we're both going to get a few bucks out of this. But like I gave Sebastian a bad time. It's like, you're just going to respend it anyway. So what's the difference? So if you guys are ready, we'll start off with these badges, and then we'll do some cans and things like that. Or maybe we'll do one badge and then do a couple cans and then do the other one. But anyway, and as always, like I said, I've got 2 minutes. I'm going to give, when we go into the timer, we'll have 2 minutes on it. So, Alec, do I get the double drink with this Hudson badge? You can. I'll hold mine up, and then everybody can drink. You can hold your own one up and drink with it too, and then you get to a double drink. So, here's what Sebastian sent in to sell on tonight. Let's see. We'll start off with one, then we'll do a couple cans, then we'll do the other one. First badge is a Dodge Brothers. This is cool. This has pretty good coloring. It's got a few chips in it. Nate says like in-store credit. Yeah. Mike from New Waverly, Texas is on with us. Let's check out the Dodge Brothers badge that Sebastian sent in. And yes, this one we're going to sell. It has a slight bow to it, but not bad. A lot of color still left in this one. Bill started off at $10. We've got some chipping down here near the Detroit. A little bit of chipping up here, but these Dodge Brothers, Pete's at 15, Alex at 40. Alex coming in at 40 to get this one rolling. Jess is getting excited. She got like starry eyes on that happy face. So, but the key to these Dodge badges is right in this area where the coloring is. The blue and the black and the white and the Star of David and the dark blue and the D and the Dodge Brothers, the DB in the middle. This stuff is almost always clobbered. And since it is so light, this coloring is so light, that really makes them, really detracts from the badges. Fortunately, this one's in pretty good shape. I've got Alec at 40 right now on Facebook. So I've got a few other bids coming in, but Alec at 40 is my high bidder as of right now. So that's what's great about this thing is, like I said, we've got some chipping here. We've got a little chipping here, but this is in the black and it's not as noticeable. This area here where the color at really looks pretty good. We've got a little bit of chipping right up here, but overall, the bulk of this stuff looks really great. So, Jason, wish I could, but gas is going up again. Yeah, that's true. So I've got Alec at 40 on this badge as of right now. Make a note here on the piece. And we're going to get this on the timer. We're getting ready to get this on the timer. I've got Alec at 40 on this one. As always, we do have, from what we're finding, about an 8-second delay. So I'm going to put it on a 2-minute timer. I will tell you when 1 minute has passed, and I will tell you when, we're to 90 seconds. But if at the point of 90 seconds, we're just about done. So Jason says killer badge. Sebastian says good luck, everybody. I've got Pete at 60 on the Dodge Brothers badge. So I'll announce when 30 seconds has passed, when a minute has passed, and when we're at a minute 30. But at a minute 30, we're probably about done due to the slight lag time on the systems. So when I announce there's 1 minute left, and then we probably better be going, you'll be thinking about what, your maximum bid's going to be and be getting ready to throw it out there. Sometimes some of these guys have gotten burned by $1 and $2 bids that they were going to go a little higher than that and then got sniped at the end. So what year is this? I didn't look these up. I just got them yesterday. So I forgot to look them up last night. It's late 20s is the era of it. So, but anyway, I've got Pete at 60. Let's go ahead and get this one on the timer. And here we go. Pete at 60 is my high bidder on the Dodge Brothers badge. And this is, like I said, this is a great piece. Slight bow to it, but not bad. But the great part about this, Alec at 65, is this colored area is great. So I got Alec at 65, then I had Kenny come in at 65. So Alec at 65 is who I've got as my high bidder because it popped up about 2 seconds before Kenny's did. And 30 seconds has now passed. So we've got a minute and a half left. I've got 65 as my high bid. Pete's back in at 70 on the Dodge Brothers badge. Like I said, it's good stuff. This is, like I said, I don't feel as bad now, I guess, because I know some of you guys are addicted too. So I don't feel as bad about having the needle in my arm when it comes to these things. So Pete at 70 is our high bidder on the Dodge Brothers. And we're coming up at 1 minute. 1 minute has passed. So be thinking about your max bid. I've got Alec at 75 now on the Dodge Brothers. 1 minute has passed. So by the time you see this, we're going to be getting very close to being done. Think about your maximum bid. Be ready to get them out there as we're wrapping this thing up. Jess says we're just all addicted. Yep, there's some truth to that. Pete's in at 100. I've got Pete at 100. And we are coming up right on the minute 30 point. And now we're at a minute 30 seconds left, which means by the time you see this, it's going to be just about done. I've got Pete at 100 is our high bidder. 20 seconds left. Pete at 100 is our high bidder right now. Keep an eye on both formats as we get ready to wrap this thing up. We're coming down to the end. I've got Pete at 100 on the Dodge Brothers. Just about done. Alec came in at 101. I've got Alec at 101. And that will do it. Alec at 101. It's a good badge. I mean, that's not out of line at all. That's for sure. Kenny says too rich for me, but that's cool piece. So. Zach, our addiction to vehicles is called carcane. Yeah, that's not too far off. Sebastian just says automotive collecting is contagious in general, and that is 100% true. So let's set the Dodge Brothers off to the side. Jess, swap meet in Springfield this coming weekend. Also swap meet in Hutchinson, Kansas this coming weekend. So both those coming up. Jess says, good badges cost some money. That's true. Yep. That's right. Alex sniped it. They sure did. And some of you guys are getting pretty good at that. I'm going to give you credit. Some of you guys are getting this thing down pat. It's like, bam, right at the end. So, let's see. Let's do a can. Let's do this one. This is cool. Okay, this is a composite cardboard can as well, but I love these cans. We've talked about this stuff before. Aviation stuff, I always think is cool. It's not as common, plus I love airplanes. So, Kim's here, late but here. That's all right. Glad you made it. We've only sold one thing, Kim, so we're just getting into the auction, just getting ready to boogie. So, but this composite can is so cool because it's got planes on it, and I love airplanes. Aeroshell. Cardboard composite can in really good condition. There's a few nicks and things in it, but good color. I love the airplanes on this stuff. The big Shell logo on it. Aeroshell oil, high quality lubricating oil for aircraft piston engines, high viscosity index, straight mineral oil for private, commercial, military aircraft, manufactured in USA by Shell Oil Company, Houston, Texas. Okay, I've got I was reading the can and didn't catch the bids. Lee at 15 is my current high bidder. He came in right before Jess. This has been drained on the bottom. Top has not been punched. Aeroshell, high quality aircraft lubricant. Bill Alderman at 18. Was that oil used on Air Force One? I doubt it, because the way it's punched on the bottom like that, I bet we drained it here. So Lee at 20 is the current high bidder. I've had about 4 or 5 bids come in between the two formats, and Lee at 20 is my high bidder as of right now. So 3 planes on this one, down here, up here, and over here, as they're streaking across the sky, underlining the Aeroshell on this can. So, like I said, there's the writing on the back. That even says Aeroshell Aviation on top, 100 SAE 50. I don't know if I held that up there long enough for you guys to see it because I didn't actually catch it at first. Aeroshell Aviation. I've got Zach at 30 on the Aeroshell can right now. So Zach at 30 is our high bidder as we get ready to put this one on the timer. As always, watch those bids and watch it. We know we've got about an 8-second delay. So when I announce that there's a minute left, please be thinking about your max bid and be ready to get it snuck in there. Of course, some of you guys are getting it down pat where by the time we got done last week, the last few things we sold, and Alec was already on it right away today, just sniping that thing and hitting it within the last few seconds. However, we've had some other guys that tried that and came in 5 seconds late too. So be cognizant of that. Zach at 30 on the Aeroshell can, and we are on the timer as of right now. Make my notes here. Sebastian says, can collectors, get your wallets ready. Zach at 30 is my high bidder on the Aeroshell. We are on the timer, ticking away as of right now. Big Job says, go, people. Let's see. 30 seconds has passed. Daniel says that would be good if there was oil in it, except I don't like them leaking, so I drain them. Kim, we're both still working on his car. He went for a part, so she jumped on real quick. Aaron Graham just clicked on. I'm driving through. Catch you next time. Sounds great. Almost 1 minute, almost to the 1 minute mark. I've got Zach at 30 on this can. Ticking away here. And 1 minute has now passed. Be thinking about your max bids if you want to jump in on the Aeroshell can. I've got Zach at 30 as of right now. Alex in at 32 on the Aeroshell can. Like I said, I'm personally a fan of aviation cans just because I like airplanes and you don't see the aviation stuff as much. But I think the aviation cans are great displays because it's always a little different than the normal stuff. So I've got Alec at 32 on the on the arrow shell. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. We're down to the last 30 seconds, which means by the time you see this, we're just going to be about ready to wrap up. I've got Alec at 32. Yeah, Daniel says it'd be worth more with oil in it. Yeah, right now it sure would be, but 15 seconds left. I've got Alec at 32 as my high bidder. Ticking on down. This one's about down to the wire. And it looks like it must be probably going to be Alec here. We're just about ready to wrap this one up. And Zach came in at 33 right at the very end. That was tight. That was super tight. But Zach came in at 33 literally the last second on that one. Sebastian just looked it up and it says that Shell also made a triangle can at one point. So Zach at 33 on the arrow shell. How about we go ahead and do Sebastian's other badge? You guys are probably getting a little thirsty too, so we better do that. The other badge that Sebastian sent in, and this thing is great. It's even nicer than the other one was, believe it or not. If I don't want to drop it and chip it, it's great. It's great till I drop it and chip it, but no. Fortunately, we're still good. Great colors on this one as well, from the Essex Motors Company of Detroit. Cool piece here. Big Job says sniper night vision. It's kind of getting that way around here. So the Essex Motors, nice piece here. It is 1 3/4 inches wide and 2 inches at the peak. Holy cow, let me Brandon at 50 is my high bidder. Lee's in at 60 already. So there's the Essex Motors. I've got Lee at 60. 2 inches from here to here, 1 3/4 inches from here to here. Obviously, you can see the colors are great. Basically not really any chipping in this thing at all. I think we may be getting to Jason here. Let's help him out a little bit. Alec at 75 is the high bidder on the Essex. This is also a pressed-on badge on the back. Steve, was Essex the cheaper version companion to Buick? No. No, Essex didn't have anything to do with Buick. So this was the one where they had the button on the back that pressed against the back of the radiator shell to hold it on. And let's see, Norma digs it. But I'm trying to keep up with comments here as we go, because this is a cool piece and everybody's getting excited about it. And I don't want to miss anybody's bid because everybody is getting pretty excited about it. But like I said, I'll hold it up here a little bit closer. Hopefully you guys can get a little better idea on condition on this thing. It is nice and flat and in good shape. So we'll get ready to sell this one. I've got Alec at 75 on the Essex badge. I try to keep both formats really close. Sebastian, Essex was its own company, then bought by Hudson. Alan, Essex was under Hudson. Essex from 1919 to 32. Yep. Kenny, I'll just watch you all bid. It's cool. Number one, Essex always gets confused and listed as Model A's or T's up around there. So let's get this thing on the timer. It's such a great piece, and the history of the Essex kind of got everybody excited here. So let's get this on the timer. We're starting with Alec at 75, and we are live on the timer for 2 minutes. Alec at 75 is the high bidder, and we are live on the timer. So great piece. Even around the edges, the white, even, if I can get my pen up here, the white around the edges, there's a chip right there if we look close enough. That's what we're talking about on this thing. So Great piece. 30 seconds has passed. We've got a minute and a half left. I've got Alec at 75 as my high bidder on this thing. So if you want to be getting in on this, time to be thinking about it. Zach, as he refills whiskey and grabs popcorn, this is going to be good. Yep. Hi, let's help everybody out with a drink with a Hudson badge. Steve says, thanks for the info. I was assuming they were the cheaper part of GM as Pontiac was to Oakland. Nope. Part of Hudson. In fact, I got a great, we'll talk about that in a minute. We got a minute. We're just coming up on that minute mark, so we need to be paying attention to this timer. 1 minute has now passed. If you're going to jump in on this thing, it's time to be thinking about it, because please remember we've got about an 8 to 10 second delay. So Alec at 75 is my high bidder on the Essex. Minute 15 has now passed. We've got 45 seconds left. And Kenny says he digs it. He just can't spend it on that. That's right, Sebastian. If you're going to bid now. We're coming up on the minute and a half point as of right now. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. 30 seconds are left. I've got Alec at 75 on the Essex badge. We're winding this thing down. We've got 20 seconds left. I've got Alec at 75 as my high bidder. Keeping an eye on both formats, since this one it's got a bunch of action right out of the gate. But since Alec threw his 75 out there, kind of slowed everybody up. 10 seconds left. We're just about ready to wrap this one up. I've got Alec at 75. And that will do it. I've got Alec at 75. And then Kenny came in with 80 right after that. We were already done. So a little bit late on that, Kenny. So sorry about that. Sebastian said, this is fun. Maybe I should send in some of his extra doubles. So cool pieces. So both badges going to Alec. Great score for him tonight on 2 super cool pieces. So let's see what else we've got in the auction box for tonight. Everybody looks a little thirsty out there, though. All right, who's ready for some more cans? We got another polishing cloth can. We did one of these earlier, but a few weeks ago or a month ago, but it was like actually had some missing paint on the front of it. But we're going to do this one now on a GM polishing cloth can. No lid on it, but a great front. In fact, this will polish up a little bit even. Kenny says, no worries. Congratulations, Alec. I appreciate that. Glad everybody, that's another great thing. Everybody on here is a good sport, and I appreciate that. So, Alec, awesome pieces. Need to run to the fridge and get another. So, we'll get everybody wound up for you. The GM polishing cloth can that we're going to take a look at now looks pretty good on the front. The back is rough, but this is what you're going to see. This is your important part. There is no cap, but the cloth is still there. But like I said, this one still looks good. The other one we did actually had like a missing chunk of paint on the front. John's on Facebook. Glad you're here with us. This one we can actually see the car very well. We can see the GM accessories very well. The polishing cloth, the stripes down here, wax treated flannel cloth for car and home use. Actually has a group and a part number. This is something I've never seen before. Group number 8.769. I'm familiar with GM group numbers. However, the part number is 1/12 of 986,077. Alex says, thanks to everybody. Jess is in at 18 on this one. Just as Alec is building his badge collection. Yeah, he definitely is doing that. But this literally says part number 1/12 of 986,077. Never seen anything like that before on a GM part number. So not sure what we're talking about on that. I've got Jess at 18 on this one. Now the back of this thing is rough. It's not like rusted out, but it's just got enough surface rust on it that it's, it's monkeyed up the paint and stuff. Old School says it's cool. And I've got Jess at 18 on the GM polishing cloth can. Alex says, thanks to Sebastian for donating the badges. So I guess now he knows how much money he's got to spend. So like I said, cool piece. Cloth is there, right there. Inside of the can's real nice. Still looks brand new. So we'll get ready to throw this one on the timer. I've got Jess at 18 on the GM polishing cloth can. official GM accessory from the General Motors Corporation. And let's get ready to throw this one up. Reset. And here we go. We are live on the timer. 2 minutes to go on the GM polishing cloth. I've got Jess at 18. We are live and we're rolling on the timer. Let's see. I've got Jess at 18 is my high bidder on this one. As the clock starts to tick down. And we're coming up on 30 seconds. That's right. Anthony says, duck Jess snipers. 30 seconds has now passed. We've got a minute and a half left on the GM polishing cloth can. It's always cool when you can make out the car, the outline of the car and everything on it. So, and I've got Zach at 22 on Facebook on the GM polishing cloth can. Zach at 22. And we're coming up on that minute mark. Not quite there yet. Kenny, thanks for polishing the inside of the can. 1 minute has now passed. As we're ticking along here towards the end. And 1 minute, 15 seconds has passed. I had Zach at 22. Jess says she got sniped. Well, yeah, you still got time, Jess, because we're just up on the minute and a half point. A minute and a half has gone by. We've got 30 seconds left. And we're getting ready to wrap this one up. 15 seconds left. We're coming down to the end. We'll see if anybody else jumps in on this one. 10 seconds left. We're coming down to the end, and we're just about ready to wrap this one up to Zach at 22 probably. And that does it. Zach at 22. All right. Are we done or do we want more? We got more junk in here. We got more cans. There's a little license plate. What else we got? Anybody like chainsaws? Brandon says do more. Number one, 9,880 subs. 10,000 by July 4th. We can do it. I'm hoping so. Oh, Zach says sorry, Jess. LOL. I don't think he's too sorry, but at least he's saying he's sorry. Everybody's saying more. So, anybody like chainsaw stuff or 2-cycle stuff? Number one says use chainsaws all summer. This is a kind of a different can. It's kind of cool. Go-karts, outboards. It's weird because it's actually a cardboard can, but the bottom's been cut out, but it's cool. Alex says just bring on more badges and cans. Home Light 2-cycle motor oil, a special oil for chainsaws, pumps, generators, power mowers, outboards, and cart engines. Home Light, a Textron division, SAE 30. Check that one out. That's kind of different. Doesn't have a lot of cool graphics on it, but it's just different because you don't see a lot of, it's actually Home Light branded. Home Light 2-cycle motor oil is a special SAE 30 oil refined from select crudes and compounded for use in 2-cycle engines, which are lubricated by a gasoline and oil mixture designed to reduce carbon deposits and improve engine cleanliness. It will assure easier starting, longer plug life, and sustained peak performance. Home Light 2-cycle motor oil. Mix thoroughly before filling engine gas tank on the back. So let's see. Brandon at 11 is my high bidder. As Ali at 15 is now my high bidder on the Home Light oil. And Jess came in at 15 as well. The bottom has been cut out of this one. I don't know why, but they cut the bottom out, but they left the top in. Something else cool about this is the Western Mercantile price sticker. I hope you guys are all going to be able to see this. It looks like it was 69 cents. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that on your screen. Western Mercantile, I'm thinking that said 69 cents is what it was supposed to be. Like I said, this is the top of the can, not cut. Bottom side is missing, but like I said, when you display it, nobody's going to know any different. So, but it is a cool piece. It is different. It is definitely something a little bit different. It caught my eye when I found it, and it does stand out. Especially if you're into go-karts, it's definitely cool as well. So I've got Alec at 17 on the home light can. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. And here we go. We are live, going 2 minutes on the home light can. So let me get my notes made here so I can keep track of things. And Alec at 17 is my high bidder. Big Job says those days are long gone. Yep, that's for sure. You're not buying a quart of anything for 69 cents anymore, I don't think. Alec at 17 is my high bidder on the home light can. Kind of a different piece. Like I said, I don't know much about them, but it's different, and that's what's cool about it. 30 seconds has passed. We've got a minute and a half left. 90 seconds, ticking down to the last 90 seconds on the home light can. Alec at 17 is my high bidder. And a neat piece. Let's see. Anything else we need to talk about on this? Oh, there is a little bit of peeling. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not. There's a little bit of peeling on the bottom, but fortunately, it is doesn't really detract from the two-cycle part and the go-karts and the outboard motor stuff. So, William Cumbie says that thing is cool. 1 minute has passed. We are at the 1 minute point. If you're thinking about jumping in on the home light can, now's the time to be thinking about it. I've got Alec at 17, and we do have the 8 to 10 second delay. So please remember, we're less than a minute left. So if you're thinking about a max bid, it is time to get it out there. As we come up on the minute 30 point. And a minute and a half is just about here. And we are now at a minute 30 seconds left. If you're going to bid on this thing, now is the time, because we do have a little bit of a delay on it. I've got Alec at 17 on the home light can as of right now. 20 seconds left on my end. Keeping an eye on both formats here to make sure somebody doesn't snipe in here at the end. 15 seconds left. Alec at 17 is my high bidder. 10 seconds left. And that will do it. I've got Alec at 17 on the home light can. Jason, bacon, eggs, and Miller High Life for supper. There you go. Hudson badge. Let's help everybody out with that. Next can I've got tonight. This is a little bit rougher, but it is an all-metal can. It's got a couple of dents in it, but it still has good graphics. It is full, so I will drain it unless the buyer wants to pay extra for shipping on it. This is a Texaco Sato. Brandon, who has any Henry J parts close to Illinois? That I don't know. I've got two, but I'm not real close to Illinois. Bill Alderman, bacon good. That's really about the best way to put it, Bill. Bacon good. Yeah, you don't really have to get too carried away because bacon's good. So this Texaco Sato SATO 6256 synthetic aircraft turbine oil looks pretty decent, but it does have a dent over here. It's got a dent over here. Not bad. Like I said, it is full. I will drain this on the bottom unless the winning bidder wants to pay extra for the shipping due to the weight of it being full. Alex is a great can for his little collection. Yeah, these are cool pieces. So top's intact, bottom's intact. It will have a couple small holes on the bottom when I drain it. We can see the Texaco star as well as the big arrow. It says Texaco Sato on both sides, so it is kind of double-sided. It is metal, Sebastian. It is an all-metal can. Jess said 15. Bill Alderman says 16. Caution, do not mix with mineral oils, fuels, or greases. Mix with other synthetic oils only as directed. Avoid spilling on rubber, plastics, or paint. Texaco Inc. Made in USA. I've got Lee at 20 on the Texaco Sato, whatever you want to call it, 6256 can. Sebastian at 21 is our high bidder at this point. We'll get ready to start getting this one on the timer. Like I said, not perfect. Definitely shows a little bit of wear, but still a cool can. William, push air in to pop out. Yep. After we get it drained, you could probably get some of those dents out of it by doing that. So, Sebastian at 21 on the Texaco Sato can. Big job. I know a farmer that was going to name his boy Bacon, and his wife said she'd divorce him. All right, let's go. We got 2 minutes on the timer on the Texaco Sato 6256 can. Sebastian at 21 is my high bidder at this point. So, I'll get this one jotted down in my notes. Sebastian at 21 is my high bidder. John made it. He was stuck at the grocery store, but he's here now. You can still jump in on this can right now. We've just passed the 30-second point. A minute and a half left on this. Please remember, we do have about an 8 to 10 second delay. So if you're going to bid, make sure you get your bids in a little early because of that delay. Sebastian's already waiting to get sniped. So the way that's been happening, that can sure definitely happen tonight. As we're just about to that 1 minute point, not quite there, but we're getting really close. And 1 minute has now passed. If you're thinking about getting in on this one, now is the time. With that 8 to 10 second delay, you need to be thinking about your max bids as soon as we hit that minute point. And that's kind of where we are right now. We're just past that minute point, so it's time to be thinking about what your max bid is going to be. 1 minute 20 has passed. I've got Sebastian at 21 is my high bidder. And we are at the minute 30 mark right now. 30 seconds left. If you're going to bid, now's the time, or it's going to be too late. So 20 seconds left. Sebastian at 21 is my high bidder as of right now. 15 seconds left. Keep an eye on everything in case somebody jumps in here at the last second. 10 seconds left. 5. And that will do it. I've got Sebastian at 21 on the Texaco. So you actually got away with it. You didn't get sniped. All right, what's everybody think? Yeah. You almost got sniped because Zach just came in at 23, so that was a little close. You knew it was coming. It just didn't pop up in time. Just a few seconds late. Zach, my timing was off. Too busy sipping whiskey. I guess that's a really good excuse. Sebastian says, I'm confused. I survived. Well, you're lucky because Zach was too far into the whiskey and was a little late, so we'll help him out. So Alec wants more badges. I don't have any more badges ready for tonight, actually. But we'll do some more for sure. I've also got, Lee wants a license plate. I've got one. I've actually got this. William's like Hudson. Kenny says that is a very good excuse. Sebastian wants to know what kind of whiskey you're drinking, Zach. So something else I was thinking about too, if you guys are interested. I mean, and I know they're not near, most of them aren't nearly as high dollar as a lot of these badges are, but is anybody interested in like regular emblems as well? Impalas or, Camaros, things like that. Just, regular old original metal emblems. I can start mixing some of those in too if you guys are into some of that stuff. I got a whole big box of horn buttons coming in. I know there's some great ones in there we're going to do. But Lee wants a license plate. The only I've got for a license plate, we did one of these about a month or so ago. I think Kenny may have gotten it. And I've got a few of these. David W. from Ohio's here. Zach's Jameson on the rocks. Got about 100 others, but this is his go-to, Jameson tonight. So, but Lee wants a license plate. I think it was Lee. Things are rolling through here pretty quickly. So Pete says, I love all emblems. Anthony says, yes. Emblems, okay. I'll start working some of that stuff, regular emblems as well as horn buttons. Yeah, it's another war plate, Kenny. Looks like the one. I think you got the last one. I've got a few of these. I don't have a ton of them. Some license plates I've got stacks of. I've got a few of these, but I did have another one in the box. So we can sure do it and do it since Lee wanted a license plate. It's the only license plate piece I've got. Another one of these 1943 Missouri tag topper war plates. So I think you got one of these, Kenny, last time. So Jason just says anything and everything. Alex says I like all car stuff. So John, I found a set of 54 Texas black and yellow plates in a state sale for $20. That wasn't a bad score. Yep, Kenny did get the last one of these we had. Steel Pony Chef says if it goes on a car, it's for me. Tony, Chad, how about 9 County, South Dakota? That I don't have any South Dakota stuff. I don't think. William says cool. Norma says $50. She's ready to go. David W. got a war plate topper. I think we did one of these on the raffle as well. Like I said, I've got a few of these. I don't have a ton of them, but I've got a few of them, and they are cool pieces. They are brand new. This one's a little scuffed. I didn't wash it. I just threw it in the box. This is 8.5 inches long and 1.5 inches high. So 8 inches, 8.5 inches long. Obviously, due to the war material shortages, this is all you got. You screwed it on top of your 1942 plate. I've got Norma at 50 on this one. It is new old stock. It's got a little bit of, that's right. Jason says, dang, Norma, get her done. Yeah, get her did. Yep, I think that's what she's doing. I think she just done decided she's going to own it. So, Classic Ride Society, Fort Worth, Texas, checking in. At 2 went to the Lawrence Swap Meet and enjoyed it. Worth the 18-hour round trip. You should have given me a shout, Classic Ride Society. I'd love to hook up with you while you were there. So, Sebastian has to go, guys. We got to join with friends and watching a movie tonight. So, but this thing here, it's like I said, it's got a little bit of surface rust down here on the bottom. Some of this will clean up, and a little bit on the back. This stuff all looks really good. Like I said, this was never used. But I've got Norma at 50. Let's go ahead and throw this thing on the timer. Mike, would be interested in dealer license plate frames, especially 40s or 50s Ramblers or Plymouths. I'll keep an eye out for some of those. I've got Alec at 51 on the wartime New Old Stock, Missouri 1943 tag topper type license plate. We'll throw this thing on the timer. We are live on the timer as of right now. Alec at 51 is my high bidder. So we're ticking along. Norma came right back at him at 60. So, like I said, it's not a big plate, but it's a cool piece of history. Some states, I think Iowa even used essentially a cardboard plate in 43. It was like a fiberboard. I think I've only got one of those. Classic Ride Side, I didn't know you were there on Saturday. A guy that he knows said he saw me buying everything up. I came home with a decent load. Yeah, I will say that. But I was only there part of the day Saturday because we left at about 11 on Saturday to get back to the McPherson College Car Show to see the Y Job. We talked about that last week. I geeked out on the Y Job. I think I bored some of you guys talking about the Y Job, but we're coming up on 1 minute. I've got Norma at 60 on the wartime New Old Stock, Missouri 1943 tag topper plate. 1 minute has passed. If you're thinking about jumping in on this one, it's time now. Alec at 62 on the Missouri 43 plate. Minute 15 has passed. I've got Alec at 62. Rusty Nails is on with us. Ticking this one down. Alec at 62 is my high bidder. Norma's back at 65. William's waiting on the Y Job video. Yeah, I need to get that done. Kenny's in at 70. Minute and a half has passed. I've got Kenny at 70. Ticking down, we're past the minute and a half point. So with the delay, we're about there. I've got Kenny at 70 with what you guys are seeing. Norma's in at 75. We've got 10 seconds left. I've got Norma at 75 on the Newell Stock Missouri tag plate, tag topper for 43. 5 seconds left. And I've got Norma at 75. Jeff from Ottawa, Canada just jumped on with us. Get my notes made here so I don't forget anybody. And then Kenny came back at 77 right after that. So Kenny was still trying. But they're neat pieces. Like I said, it's a small piece, but it's also a small piece of history. So, Zach, ever seen an ABC car? There's a 1908 four-seater to shop near his house. No, I haven't seen an ABC. So, let's see. Want to do one more can, or we want to call it, guys? Classic Ride Society was there around 7:30 a.m. Had trouble parking. Was told 4x4 only. Yeah, it was 4x4 only, and I had trouble getting in 4-wheel drive, honestly, at Lawrence Swap Meets Classic Ride. So, yeah, we had the golf cart, the trailer with Dad's golf cart on. The golf cart was a mess. The trailer was covered in mud. Yeah, it was. The parking lot was a mess, and it took 4x4 to get through there. So. Yep, Old School says auctions visited. Yeah, but I've been thinking about it, Old School. I just didn't know if it would go or not. You were the one that kind of encouraged me to go ahead and try it, so that's why we did it. Zach says more cans. So, let's see. Rusty Nails, I'm going to collect World War III plates. David W., hit the forward button on the video before the auction, folks. Jess says it was a swamp meet, and that's about right. James, hi, guys, forgot about tonight. It's on vacation in North Carolina. That's cool. At least you made it for a while. Let's see. Zach says more cans. Let's go. Okay, let's do something here. I don't know what we want to do. Old School says, anybody collect tuna cans? I don't know. Kenny says emblems. I don't really have emblems. I need to get some stuff dug out and ready on emblems. But I'll have some emblems next week. This can, let's just do this one. This is not a super high dollar can, but maybe that'll let a few other people play too. I'm gonna wipe it down a little bit. It's a little crusty. I didn't wipe it off. Anthony, this is better than a swap meet. Beer in his easy chair. So let's polish this one up a bit. This is another cardboard can, not a super high dollar can, but a really nice can. Very common back in the day, but now they're again something a little different. And it has a good top on it as well. Classic Ride Society still had a great time. We'll have to be there on Friday next year. You beat me to the swivel bucket seats. Yeah. Actually, he only had one of those swivel bucket seats unloaded when I bought them. So I had to go over to his trailer to look at the other one because he sat the first one down on the ground as I was walking up. So I hit the swivel bucket seat thing just perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. I could not have done that one any better on those swivel bucket seats. But Brandon wants nobody shirts with Gray Kitty on it. Hey, Gray Kitty, you want to be on a t-shirt? Gray Kitty. She ain't even budging. She's out like a light. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this one. It doesn't seem like, there again, seems like it's a fairly common can. Do you think about when's the last time you've seen one? Maybe at a swap meet or something, just like what we're doing here. But it's a yellow Pennzoil, the tough film motor oil with the Liberty Bell on it. Cardboard can, great colors. And I got to thinking, I almost didn't throw this in. It's like, well, that's too common. But I got to thinking, how common is it anymore? In the 70s, yeah, they were everywhere. But how common are they anymore? Jeff Taylor's already at 10 on it. We're ready to go. But it does have great colors. It's got the Liberty Bell on it. Like I said, it's not, Old School says he doesn't have it. He's at 29. Lee's at 20, but I've got Old School at 29. Pennzoil with Z7, formulator for drivers who prefer straight grade motor oil. Select high quality lube stocks are blended with Pennzoil additive Z7 to provide long lasting engine protection. You need no extra oil additive. exceeds car manufacturer's warranty requirements, helps extend engine life, protects against wear and corrosion, helps keep engines clean. Recommended for passenger car diesel engines. Let's see. Let me get caught back up on bids. I've still got Old School at 29 is my high bidder. Classic ride side. Am I doing Springfield? No, I'm not doing Springfield. Jess and Rico are going. I'm going to Hutch on Friday. Hutchinson, Kansas swap meet this Friday is where I will be this weekend. Zach at 35 on the Pennzoil. Rusty Nails has one, but it isn't this good. Like I said, it's got the instructions on the back. It's got the Pennzoil across it. It has writing on the top, the Pennzoil Z7 on the top as well. Zach at 35 on the oil can. This one was punched on the bottom with a spout stuck in upside down. But great colors. Barcode must be 80s. Yeah, probably 80s. That's probably right, Old School, because it does have a barcode on it. So it's probably early 80s, which is now 40 years old. As crazy as that is to think about, it is now 40 years old for a can from the early 80s. So I've got Zach at 35 on the Pennzoil can. Let's get this thing on the timer, and here we go. We are live, ticking down on 2 minutes. I got Zach at 35 on the Pennzoil can with great colors and the super cool stuff on the top. Jeff Taylor at 36 on the Pennzoil. Kenny, complete with destructions. That's about right. It is complete with destructions. We are on the timer. I've got Steel Ponies, Jeff at 36. Let me get this one wrote down in my notes so I don't forget. Alec at 37. 30 seconds has passed. We've got a minute and a half left on this one. I've got Alec at 37. Tony says we're all getting old. LOL. Yeah, no kidding. Tell me about it. I've got Alec at 37 on this one. Classic ride side. I've ever been to Petty Jean, Arkansas swap meet. I have never been to that one. I've always heard of it. Known about it for years. Just nothing I've ever been able to get to. Old School. Any Russian oil cans? LOL. Yeah. Alec at 37 is my high bidder as of right now. Nate is going to be going to Hutch, so I'll probably see him there on Friday. 1 minute has now passed. We've got just under a minute left. I've got Alec at 37 on the Pennzoil. So, time to be thinking about that max bid. Please remember we've got the 8 to 10 second delay as we're getting this one's coming down to the wire. With that delay, when you see this, it's about done. So, because we are right now coming up on a minute and a half. So, 30 seconds left, which means by the time you see this part, it's going to be about done. I've got Alec at 37 on the Pennzoil can. Lee at 40. I've got Lee at 40. We've got 15 seconds left. Lee at 44 now. 10 seconds left. I've got Lee at 44. Zach came in at 40. I've got Lee at 44 now. And that will do it. I've got Lee at 44. All right. Are we ready to do a magazine, or are we going to do one more auction? Then Zach gave her a good shot. Zach threw that 45 out there at the last minute as a Hail Mary, but it didn't come through in time. So Old School says one more. We'll do one more. Anthony says magazine. Magazine. So let's see. It looks like we're about ready for the magazine. Steel Ponies, Jeff Taylor says nice cans tonight. So we'll go ahead and roll with the magazine. And but William don't care. He's good for both. That's all right, because you know what? We just sold about half what I had in the box, so I'll refill the box for next week. There's still all kinds of cool stuff in here. Number one says, how about a dirty magazine? Zach's ready for more auctions. Well, like I said, I don't want to do auctions all night because we still got to do the other stuff as well. You know, and we may do at some point. We've touched on this a little bit. Just take an hour some night and auction stuff. We'll see how things continue to go, but maybe we'll do that to where we do just an auction night as well. Classic Ride Side, is Hutch swap meet bigger or smaller than Lawrence? It's a lot smaller. Hutch is not a huge swap meet. So we'll see how things go. If we continue to have good response on the auction, we may do that, line up, 20, 30 things and just sell stuff for one night. And that's one thing, and I'll be in a little better position to do that here hopefully soon. I told my daughter, she's home from college, that that's one thing we got to do is we've got to sort through some stuff. So hopefully, and in fact, we get started on some of that. We may be ready to do something where we just get on and sell 20, 30, 40 things for an hour and a half one night. And maybe we just take a Sunday night off and do that, and then just keep mixing regular stuff in as well. But we got a lot of cool stuff in here yet. There's still 8 cans and a few other things in here, so we'll have more stuff to go. Might need more viewers for a full auction. That's one thing that I am thinking about, old school. If we're going to run an hour, we're going to have more people on. So that's another thing I was thinking about. Of course, I was thinking about auctions before, and then you said, let's go ahead and try them. So I hadn't talked about it, but I had it in the back of my head, and you said, try it. And we tried it, and so far it's worked good. So, Jess, Rico and I were going to the Hutch swap meet in October, her birthday month. Holy cow. It's May. So Jess is already starting on her birthday month in October. So get ready, everybody. We got 4.5 months of hearing about Jess's birth month. I'm just forewarning everybody. So, Norman would love it. Kenny says more stuff. So let's go ahead and roll on the magazine, and we'll see how things go. But like I said, I'm going to get some stuff sorted out, and I know I've got tons and tons of duplicates. It's just a matter of taking time to sort them out. Like I said, as I'm, bringing stuff in from the last couple swap meets from Wichita, from Lawrence, I'm sorting some of that stuff as we're going, and that's where some of this stuff is coming from. But I've got boxes of stuff that we've got to get through. But that's going to make it even more interesting because you never know what we're going to pull out next. Getting her back to work this summer. Now, actually, she's got an internship, so I don't have her all summer, just a little bit here and there. She's got an internship for the summer. So tonight's magazine is going to be Car Life from April of 1966. There's a ton of cool stuff in this one. That was another reason we needed to get rolling on the magazine, because there's a lot of great stuff in here. Obviously, no way to do it all. I had to kind of pick and choose, but definitely some cool stuff. Obviously, we see the Mercury Comet Cyclone on the front cover, which are super cool cars that you very rarely see anymore. So let's check this thing out. Number 1 says Comets get no respect. That's true. They don't. They really don't. They're so overshadowed by Fairlanes that they really don't get a lot of respect. Jess's birthday is October 15th, so we can all be ready. Well, so we do have 5 full months we have to listen to her. We got to give her a bad time about it, because she'll ride her the whole time. She'll work it the whole time. So Jess likes Comets. First little tidbit we're going to catch in here, in some of the small bits and pieces before we get into the full articles. Motor City, GM's shoulder belts. Not really any cool pictures, just an article about GM shoulder belts. At the time, that was kind of a big deal. And this is kind of that's why I thought this was worth touching on. GM will offer shoulder harnesses shortly, even though it is still opposed to the device. Let's try that again. GM will offer shoulder harnesses shortly, even though it is still opposed to the device. Chrysler Corporation so far has been the only domestic automaker to make available shoulder belts as a dealer-installed accessory. While Ford is not against harness, it still hasn't found a design which it feels is suitable and safe. Now, here's where this thing really kind of kicked in that was a little bit different. So, GM is offering them shortly. Chrysler Corporation has made them available as a dealer-installed accessory. Ford is not against a harness, but hasn't found a design that it likes. So that's the big 3. Studebaker does not offer a shoulder belt at present, nor does American Motors Corporation. but the latter will probably announce one sometime between now and the 1967 model introduction. AMC will offer shoulder harnesses identical to Chrysler's, as both companies draw on the same supplier. So that's what was kind of weird about it. One, shoulder harnesses, obviously today, don't even know a seatbelt without one. Plus the fact that they're talking about 5 major manufacturers: GM, Ford, Chrysler, AMC, and Studebaker. Yes, Studebaker was still in business in 1966. They are very rare. There are not a lot of them out there, but there are 1966 Studebakers out there. They did not make very many cars, but they were still making them, and there are a few out there. So some, kind of a double-sided part to that one as far as a little bit of history. Kevin, speaking of comments, total eclipse tonight, blood moon. Didn't know that either. Number one, anybody with a solid 60s Mercury and a running 390, and he's in. Bill Alderman, shoulder harness strap was a huge issue then. Yep, that's why I thought it was kind of neat to mention it. Big job. I remember shoulder belts came out and everyone said, I'm not wearing that. Yep. So let's flip up a few pages to the Car Life road test on the Comet Cyclone GT and supercar status for Lincoln's little brother. Kind of a blurred action shot of the Cyclone GT. This is a big article, and there are some cool pictures in it. There are a few articles in tonight's issue that have a lot of meat to them, so it's going to take a little bit to get through them, but we won't spend tons of time on them. Bill, got to go. See you Tuesday. Glad you made it tonight, Bill Wagman. I'm glad we're on for most of it. But some great shots. The pictures of the Cyclone GT, fiberglass hood with twin air scoop heralds Cyclone GT arrival on the drag scene. Some judicious drilling would make the scoops functional, but a lot of cool pictures with this article. That's right, Jason says action shot, and we got more action shots right here. As well as the specifications, like we always touch on these on some of these road tests. Equipped as tested was $3,391. It obviously had the let's see. Yes, the 390. That's what I thought. I looked at the wrong line. 390 rated at 335 horse, 427 foot-pounds of torque. The performance data on this one. I'm trying to go through the whole chart real quick. I got a lot of chart here. Trying to catch some of the high points. Standing quarter mile of 15.2 at 90 miles an hour out of this 390 equipped Comet Cyclone GT. So, but there's also some cool detail shots. Obviously, we've got all the specs down here, but I'm trying to hold this up here so you can see some of the detail shots on this thing where they were showing the interior, taillights, trunk, things like that. So, and then the last page has a few more cool pictures that we definitely want to share because it's got the engine stuff. Cool cutaways. It's got a picture of the console, automatic equipped car, but shows a picture of the engine plus a super cool cutaway. These cutaways, pre-computer, days, and really cool with what they did with that stuff. Now, the next several pages, this turned into a big article. So it's going to take a few minutes to get through it, but it's worth doing, and it's a little bit different. Obviously, we're looking at the Comet Cyclone GT, the cool stuff. That's what everybody wants to see. This next article, and it actually has a road test on the cars, then it breaks down the cars. So there's several pages. So Brandon's got to bail off. Glad you made it for a while tonight, Brandon. Battle of the Sixes, Chevrolet versus Ford. The Chevrolet Bel Air 6 and the Ford Custom 500 6. So these are kind of the plain Jane road tests in this next section. However, one thing about it is a lot of these cars survive. They didn't get trashed as bad, so that's why you find a lot of four-doors. And that's what these were, just your basic, regular six-cylinder sedans. Comparing the sixes, Frank, in 66, there was also a Kaiser, Okay, that one I'm not familiar with. But comparing the cars, wheelbase was essentially the same, both at 119 inches. Engine brake horsepower rating 155 for the Chevy, 150 for the Ford. So, very comparable, cars basically. List price $2,519 for the Chevy, $2,533 for the Ford. So, I mean, very, very, very comparable cars. Just your basic 4-door, 6-cylinder type of deal. Alec may buy a 66 Special. Pete says the nose pick is cool. Yeah, it kind of is. In the next page, it's got a couple more, just a shot of the noses, as well as trunk space and the rear shot. Now, they're going to start off on the road test where they had the comparison specs, but then they're going to get into separate tests on the cars. Starting off with the Bel Air. This one's a nice, calm, peaceful setting. Don't see a lot of action shots there. We'll see if they got some a little later on, but that would have taken some work, with a 6-cylinder Bel Air to get much of an action shot. But M. Blake loved me a 64 Comet. But no, surprisingly, there are no action shots of the 66 Bel Air 6-cylinder, which I'm sure probably surprised no one. Oh, Frank says Kaiser Jeep. Yep, that's right. I'm with you now. But we've got the road test data. We've got a picture of the Powerhouse Inline 6 in the 66 Bel Air. And this was the 250 inline 6, like we talked about before, rated at 150 brake horsepower. Not a real powerhouse there. So obviously the quarter mile times were not exactly scorching compared to the 15-second quarter Comet Cyclone GT was running. This thing flew through the standing quarter mile at 20.5 seconds at 69 miles an hour. So obviously these were your basic sedan, your basic cruiser. Simplicity and neatness of design are readily apparent. Add to its already good resale value. The Bel Air 4-door with a 6-cylinder engine has nearly equal weight distribution as well. So, Jason, my shoulder belt gets hung up under his man boobs. Big job. I've got a 65 Galaxy California car, clean small block bucket seat car. That's a pretty good piece. So the last couple of pictures of the Bel Air 6, once again, no action shots. They're all sitting still in all of them. And then we're going to go right into the Ford Custom 500 road test on it and see what they had to say about it. The 6, built like an 8, elevates the appliance standard. But on the Ford 6, once again, shockingly, no action shots of the Ford Custom 500, but some good detailed shots. Number one, I'm addicted to those base model entry-level cars, often bought for the daughter or son or second house and rarely survive, but help get lots of people on the roads and improving their lives. That is true. That's 100% true. A lot of these base models, they made them for a reason because people did need them. There's no doubt about that. But on the 66 Ford Custom 500 sedan, its 6-cylinder was 240 cubic inches at 150 horsepower, 234 pounds of torque, and this thing was even slower through the quarter mile. Barely, not by much, but it was actually slower at 20.7, 66 miles an hour. Number one, I'm addicted to those base model. Or no, that's one I just read. I thought that Big Job just popped up. Big Job already likes the magazine. We're already partway through it, and Big Job's already given it a thumbs up. Well, good. So there it is, the road test on the comparison of the 6 cylinders, the Ford versus the 66 Chevy. Just your basic model, basic 6-cylinder sedans. Nothing exciting, but there again, it's still a part of car history. We still stumble on these cars. It's still good knowledge, and all that stuff comes into play when we look at the big picture as to our hobby and what we do. So Big job. Yep, the family man's ride to work in the day, and that's exactly right. On the Ford, it says, what happens when a body designed to accommodate a V8 is fitted with a 6-cylinder engine and a 3-speed automatic? The result is minimal transportation, adequate but unexciting as a dishwasher in the kitchen. So that's basically comparing these cars to literally appliances. Bill Alderman, dealer options probably help push sales, and that's true. There were a lot of dealer options that could be added to these cars as well. But as tested, these were pretty much your basic 6-cylinder, plain white wrapper sedans. One thing that I've actually kind of, jumped over in a lot of these magazines that I think I'm going to start working in. A lot of times I overlook them because it's stuff that gets so early. But a lot of these magazines in the 60s and 70s actually had a section on what at that time was considered a collector car. I've gotten so wrapped up into looking at what was happening in the magazine. So we were comparing it with what did happen, looking back with 2020 hindsight and saying, yeah, that did happen, that didn't happen. Obviously, the shoulder belts we know did happen. There's nothing out there without them anymore. So I kind of always and it's several magazines have had it. I've just always overlooked them. But I think I'm going to start touching on them because there again, we're looking back in time, not only at the new cars, but we start looking at these articles on the older car they're highlighting in certain issues. It tells us about the collector car world in 1966. Number one, they were fleet cars. That's true. Absolutely right. They were absolutely fleet cars for taxis, park ranger, school driver's ed, things like that. Absolutely. A lot of those did get into fleets. But the Car Life Classic in April of 1966 was a 1930 Dupont Speedster. So a very unique looking car. Yes, Dupont actually did manufacture vehicles for a short time. I actually had a color picture of this one, which is a pretty big deal in these magazines from the 60s. Not a lot of color in them. So for them to actually feature this with a full color page was a pretty big deal. One definitely unique thing about the Dupont is the headlights. It's got a picture of the headlight. Check that thing out. Super unique. Billy Bowman's on with us on Facebook. But you can see that headlight shape in there about how cool that thing was. Like I said, we're talking 1930. Style was a big, big part of cars in that day. Jess and Eli at the same time. That's cool. Yep, that is pretty cool. The 1930 Dupont, the engine was a Continental L-head, Dupont modified inline 8, 322 cubic inches, with 140 horsepower. Stromberg carburetor, 20-gallon fuel tank. And there's a few more pictures. It's got a picture of the engine. Very unique looking engine. A good side profile shot here. We're going to check it out. Big job. Think about no air conditioning in a taxi nowadays. Yeah, that's true. So here we see some engine shots with the hood open, a cool side profile shot of the car, as well as an interior shot of the, probably at the time fairly well equipped dash. In today's world, there's nothing there. But at the time, it's actually got an array of gauges. And if you look back at what a 1930 Model A had for gauges, this was a pretty well equipped dash. We think of the touchscreens and stuff we have today and look at that and can't hardly believe it. But when you compare it to like a Model A or a Chevrolet of the day, that was a well-equipped dash for sure. Bill Alderman, good point. Interesting on what collector interests were then. And like I said, I just kind of overlooked it because it really wasn't what we were focusing on. When we're trying to look back at, what we look at now as old cars, I'm like, what? Why should I keep skipping these? We need to work them in a little bit. I may not get them all, but it's still cool to learn about what was happening at that time. So that's why I thought we'd talk for just a few minutes about the 1930 Dupont Roadster and check out a few of the pictures because it was a super cool car and obviously had some really, really interesting styling features as well. Alec, those remind me a lot of today's kit cars. Yeah. But that, I mean, that's what they were modeled after, was that era of stuff. So back to what at the time was modern, today collector, at the time modern. The Car Life Road Test on the Chrysler 300, a package of TNT for the big car fan. And that's really a good way to put it. The 66 300 was a really good looking car. There's no doubt about it. Take a look at this picture right here. See if you guys can get a good look at it. Good looking two-door hardtop on the 66 300 on that big bodied Chrysler. Kenny says good magazine too. We're not even done yet, and a lot of you guys are already been into it, so that's cool. Good, I'm glad. But the 66 Chrysler 300, and here's something else that there again, today we don't even think about this. Jason says it's a slick car. Yeah, those big Chryslers back in the mid and late 60s were good looking cars. They really were. But something that in today's world we don't even bat an eye about, however, in 1966 was a pretty big deal: disc brakes. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago where they actually had a comparison in an article where they said that the brakes they couldn't even justify disc brakes compared to what the results were compared to drums. So Norma says 66 was a very good year. So what they did is they actually had a breakdown as well as a chart showing the difference between drum and disc brakes performance-wise. And it actually gives a breakdown where it shows you the rotor, the caliper, the piston, the pad, all that stuff. Because in 1966, very few people were familiar with this. You know, Crosley had it on some stuff. They used it on some airplane stuff. But your average guy didn't know anything about disc brakes. You got to remember, this was April of 1966. The only thing that had it standard at that point was the Corvette, came out in 65. So if you weren't working at a Chevy dealer, you didn't sell a lot of Corvettes, you probably hadn't seen it. So this was pretty new technology for the time. And that's why I'm sure they put this whole breakdown in here of the disc brake setup. Number one, those style of cars weren't very useful on highways in America. The big American companies made more useful and robust cars for big, long, smooth drives. Yep. Tony, it's hard to find a good car magazine nowadays. Yep, that's actually true. It is kind of tough. And that's why I like Old Cars Weekly, actually, because it has a lot of diversity. So that's kind of one of my favorites, actually, just because you never know what's going to be in it. A couple more great pictures of the 300 on the page opposite the disc brakes. Shows a good profile shot of it. As well as some good detail pictures, as well as the specifications on the next page. This was equipped with a 440, 365 horse, 480 pounds of torque in that 440 on this 66 300. Price as tested with the 440 automatic, limited slip differential, air conditioning, AM, FM, rear seat speaker, power antenna, steering, bucket seats, windows, brakes, small control system, console, vacuum gauge, tinted glass, headrests, and remote control mirror. Price as tested, $5,594. We haven't done any of those in a while, but I bet you guys are getting thirsty. I got into the magazine, kind of forgot about it. That's right. Zach brought up another point that I see a lot of memes about. In 2022, people have to be told not to drink the contents of the battery. That's right. And back in the day, you actually taught people how to work on it. But that's a great meme. I see that floating around a lot. You know, it's like they literally have to tell people not to drink the contents of the battery. William, oh my, absolutely a lot of distrust with disc brake on cars then. Point of view, drum brakes were tried and true. And that's right. Drum brakes were completely tried and true. Disc brakes were something new and new fandangled gadget that, we don't know nothing about that stuff type thing. Number one, that 300 is the size of a house in England. Yeah, no kidding. Never mind the cobblestone pony paths they call roads. So, yeah, that's true too. But the 66 300 ran the quarter mile in 16.1 seconds, 88 mile an hour with that big 440. Top speed is about 120 mile an hour. Some great shots, detail shots, taillights, trunk, interior. We definitely want to check those out as well. Josh, still looking for 54, 55 Olds, good frame and minimal dash. Yeah, and I've only got that one car that's all still intact. I haven't had any other 54s or 55s come in. That's right, Rusty. Like we all say, remove the labels and let nature take its course. So, Sebastian Herbert Ford, Henry Ford always said the power of steel from the pedal to the wheel. M-Plate Hemmings has two good magazines, Classic Car and Muscle Machines. And those are good magazines. I do agree. What I don't like about the Hemmings magazines, both Muscle Machines and Classic Car, is everything in there, unless it's changed over the last few years, everything in there is East Coast. Shows, events, the cars they feature, it's all East Coast stuff. None of it, they don't, Hemmings has all staff writers. They don't have any contract writers that, submit articles, from different parts of the country. So that's why I kind of got tired of Classic Car and Muscle Machines, is just everything is East Coast for the most part. I mean, they do like the big Barrett Jacksons and stuff, but for the most part, it's all strictly East Coast because of the staff writers. Josh's price, the Olds dash, I don't have time to cut the dash out. If that, on the whole dash on that one. Terry Sellers is here, David W. So but another road test we're going to catch, and this one, like I said, there's a ton of great stuff in this magazine, and I'm actually skipping stuff because there's so much great meat in this one. The Olds that I've got is a 54. I've got a 5488. The only thing I've got at 54, 55 Olds at all right now. But this next road test is on a vehicle that obviously today has gone bananas in the market, crazy bananas. But in 1966, it was just something different. Nobody knew what it was going to do. Nobody knew it was going to be popular. It was just something different. In fact, there really wasn't anything else out there like it other than, basically the Scout that had come out a few years prior to that, or just an actual tried and true Jeep, which didn't have a full body. But this one's on the Ford Bronco, the early Ford Broncos. Shows an action shot with the Broncos splashing through the mud. And also some good still shots. And this is pretty much your basic Bronco. It has weird hubcaps on it, so I don't know if this was like a prototype or what, or maybe the early ones had a different hubcap. If Robert's on, I'm sure he can clarify that for us. But my good buddy Robert Seaburns with the U.S. Hubcap Collectors Facebook page, he can tell us. But I'm not sure about those hubcaps. If you guys can see them, they're kind of weird. That's right. That's what a dude would holler at with the Ford Bronco. So, John Anderson, proud new owner of a 59 Rambler wagon, light green and black. They've got myself in a little too deep, but he's dreamed of this car. But yikes, it needs a lot. Yeah, they're cool. Of course, any wagon's cool in today's world. There's no doubt about that. How about a Hudson badge? Speaking of wagons, we got a wagon to talk about here in a little bit. So, because I'm a proud new owner of another wagon as well. But that sounds like a cool car. That light green and black is a cool color combination on those old Ramblers. But on the Ford Bronco, and actually, here's the close-up of that hubcap, kind of. Shows the lockout hub. Hub's locked for four-wheel drive, unlocked for two-wheel drive, paved roadway travel. But check out this shot here with this. I think I know what that is. I just remembered. I think I've seen this on Robert's page. That's a Mercury cap from the 50s, like an early 50s Mercury cap that they use those molds for those early Broncos. If Robert's on, I'm sure he can confirm that for me. But I guarantee you, I did read that. That it was a Mercury cap, about a 52, 53, 54 Mercury cap, one of those that they've slightly modified that was used on those early Broncos, but I think it was very early Broncos only. So not exactly sure on that, but it's something like that, and I know Robert could clarify that for us for sure. Number one, do they mean the Dodge Dude? Is that who they're targeting? Yeah, the Dodge Dudes are cool. Anthony says it's a good magazine too. So I mean, we're not even done yet, and you guys really dig it. So I'm glad you do. And like I said, and we're skipping stuff. There's just that much cool stuff in it. A lot of great detail shots on the Bronco as well, including the front suspension, the engine, the dash, as well as the specs. We'll look at the specs here in a minute as well. Oh, come back here. You guys stand up. These guys want to see the pictures. Rusty Nails is looking for a dude. The Dodge dudes are cool. You never see them, but they are cool trucks. The price of the Bronco as tested. Base price $25.51. As tested, the options include flashers. Flashers were an option. Seats, driver and passenger bucket seats. A rear seat was an option. Rear seat belts, obviously an option with a rear seat. Tailgate spare tire mounting, oversized radiator, a radio, a paint stripe, and a right-hand mirror, bringing the total of this 1966 Bronco to $3,149. John, still rubbing my knees with Bengay, only owned a few days before. Maybe I'm too old for this now. But the 66 Bronco obviously had a 6-cylinder in it from the picture, with rated at 105 horsepower with 158 pounds of torque. Once again, not a rocket ship, flying through the quarter mile at 21.9 seconds at 59 miles an hour. But these things were not made for that. They were an off-road vehicle for sure. Josh, just call me. That's part of the reason why I don't get into a lot of the part stuff on here, because it is too confusing. If you just call me and we can go over it all, because that's why it is confusing, because we're trying to do it with half the information on there. So, so we get that up there. So yeah, just give me a call tomorrow, Josh, and we can go over the details. That's why I don't get into a lot of getting into the details on specific parts on here, because then we go off on a rabbit hole on one thing and leave everybody else hanging. So, Big Job Broncos, I think I have the Market Corner in his neighborhood on 91 and 95s. Has 2 of them and 6 more parts trucks. So, phone numbers is, if you click on the text part of the video, after we get done, the phone number's in there. It's in there every week, and it's on every video I post. If you click on the text, if you read the text on everything I post, I always put my number in there for that exact reason. Bud, what's the back of the t-shirts look like? Actually, we usually have the back up. I just happened to flip it this time. The back has the 40 Ford cab over on it. And then the nobody on the front. So the information to order t-shirts is also in the text part of the video. Big Job's a Bronco magnet. But there again, we're looking back at something that obviously today is super cool and super popular. Big Job says he loves those shirts. But in 1966, they didn't even know these things were going to go. Literally. They had no idea whether or not this thing was even going to take off. So obviously we know now it did. Couple of more articles real quick, and then we're going to check out some ads. Plus, we've got a few classifieds in this magazine to check out. Kenny says he's definitely a nobody. Measuring the Mustang. Instrumentation documents AFX performance. Alec, did the Bronco and the Mag have leaf spring suspension? Let me look real quick. Bill says he's wearing his. Nope, it's got coils. That picture, I know it's tough to see, but right here in the front suspension, we can see the coils on that one. So this was coil spring. I don't know if they were, available both ways, but this one is definitely coil. That's right, Jeff says those Broncos have now, definitely worth their weight in gold. George loves the Imperial sign. We'll get in on the raffle, George. We're giving that one away here in a few weeks. But measuring the Mustang, instrumentation documents AFX performance. Fastback Mustang drag car, super cool picture with the old testing wheel hooked to the back, like they used to do. But what was cool about this article was the testing equipment. Look at the testing equipment they got in this thing. Like the whole passenger seat is testing equipment. So that's why I thought this was worth looking at compared to today. You slap a draggy on your dash and it can tell you about everything, and they're really pretty darn accurate compared to what they had to do back in the day for some of this testing. Plus, it actually shows the backseat area. Now, this is a drag car with no backseat in the roll bar. Zach, where's the Dr. Pepper thermometer? That one's mine. The Dr. Pepper thermometer is mine. The only time I change this, if I've got a sign, I'll leave it here that we're raffling off. If whatever we're raffling off doesn't hang here, I'll switch it every week with something different. So number one says teardrop hood scoop on that Mustang. It does look very similar to the Thunderbolt hood scoop. You can't tell for sure, but it does look an awful lot like a teardrop Thunderbolt type hood scoop. But the rest of the data, George remembers those wheels. Yeah. We take a look at the backseat area of this Mustang. Of course, it's got a roll bar and stuff in it. But look at all the stuff they've got mounted back here, all this other testing equipment to try to gather data on these cars back in 1966. That's what it took. Jeff Taylor loves those scoops. Bill, just keep that great GM feeling. Yep. Big job. Heck, I remember AMC cars running around Kenosha and Racine, Wisconsin, running around with that wheel on the back doing their testing. Yeah, they used it on everything back then. I don't know exactly what it did, but I'm sure it hooked up to some of this stuff. But we want to catch one more article real quick. I can tell you, I warned you guys there was a ton of cool stuff in here. This is a short article, but it was definitely something worth looking at. Number one, that car had great stance, fat tires, and a killer scoop. Yep, he may just become a Mustang guy. Rusty Nails, Midnight Express, a black Little Red Express. Yeah, and then they had the Warlocks as well. Number one, I want to build a replica, move over bullet. I've got a buddy that's got a 67 fastback coming in here in about a week or two. So I actually know where there's a 67 fastback that's going to be available very soon. But this was kind of a different, just a little short blurb. But there again, this is 1966. It was Sign of Times to Come. What a way to go. Rambler folk learn to Watusi. And what it is design sketches for what became the AMX. So I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, any prototype stuff, design stuff, most of that stuff you don't see. Obviously, these are, design studies of essentially what became the AMX, a year or two later. So I thought that was definitely worth looking at. And those couple of pictures were definitely worth checking out as well. Big Job's got teardrop hood scoops for about everything. Tony's got one on a 61 Biscayne. So I thought those pictures were cool and definitely worth it taking a second to look at as well. So let's get to some magazines and then to some ads and then get to some classifieds real quick. And then we'll move on to trivia, the raffle, and inventory and next week's videos. But obviously, on the front cover, we remember the Cyclone GT on the front cover. It was full color. When we flipped the inside cover open, once again, full color for the Hemi Belvedere, specifically announcing the Hemi 426 Plymouth Belvedere. So action shots on that one. Of course, it's on a dirt road, but if it's a Hemi, you'd think they had it on some asphalt smoking the tires. But definitely a good ad, especially when it specifically mentions the Hemi. Right along with that, when we flip a couple of more pages forward to the Chevrolet ad, it just says "Do not tease" and has a picture of an Impala two-door hardtop. But that's the small part of the ad. The big part of the ad is a caged, literally behind steel bars, dual snorkel air cleaner, turbojet 427 V8 ad. So that ad was definitely put together to make a statement. Obviously, we see the 66 Impala two-door hardtop Super Sport below it, but this was the big kahuna. This was the big block ad. We've got to keep this thing behind bars on the Turbojet 427 from Chevrolet. Anthony says, I've ridden in that car in white, a white Hemi Belvedere. Frank, Ford built the Bronco to run against the Jeep Commander. George, awesome cars, AMX and Javelin, that's for sure. Rusty Nails, $500,000 car. Number one, I was just reading about the Midnight Express when I was researching the Warlock. A dealership up here made dealer option Ram Chargers with option kits like that. Bill Alderman probably had the squeal in the dirt. Yep, probably did. So definitely Chevrolet making a statement with that ad. Alex says it's cool as well on Facebook. Tweedledee, forget time flies. That's for sure. Couple more pages forward, and reeling things back in a little bit, shifting gears to the luxury side of things from General Motors. Step out front in a rocket action Oldsmobile Tornado will get you if you don't watch out. The personal luxury coupe, a little bit of color with a red background, but definitely more of a stylish ad than a performance-based ad on this one. Joe says ZL1 427 was the best. Kenny says it's cool. So we're kind of shifting gears to more of a stylish type ad with the Tornado. But there again, that's what's great about these magazines. A little bit of something in here for everybody. Something else that was a little bit different that we don't even really think about today, but back in the day was a really, really big deal. Really big deal. In the 60s, about everything still had bias ply tires on it. Very, very few people spent money, or could step up and spend good money on tires. And kind of the top of the mark, the king of the hill for tires back in the mid 60s were Michelin's. And this is where Michelin is advertising radial tires. But there again, that was a big deal back in the day. Most people couldn't afford Michelin's. If you had Michelin's, you had something pretty special if you were able to step up to that quality of tire. So that's why I thought mentioning Michelin's in 66 was a pretty big deal because, like I said, most people were still running bias ply, couldn't afford things like this. So this was a pretty big deal, and obviously big enough they took out a full-page ad for it. No color, but still a full-page ad. Bill Alderman, yep, radials were big, big bucks. Another ad from Chevrolet, not an action shot, but a lot of action getting ready to happen in the background. On the El Camino, you can take it with you, over half ton of it if you wish, and that's only part of the beauty of the Chevrolet El Camino. Along with the capabilities of a light-duty truck, you get sleek 66 Chevelle styling and a lap of luxury interior you can make as lush as you like. So when we look at the background on this thing, obviously they're showcasing the El Camino and what it's capable of doing. But check out the stuff in the background. Looks like probably an SCCA event. They all look like road race cars. Some Corvairs, obviously a mid-year Corvette, a couple of mid-year Corvettes, some sort of a sports car type road racing event getting ready to go on in the background in this El Camino ad. Eloy still has bias plies on his Riviera. Flipping up a few pages here up to the middle of the magazine, with a big 2-page color spread, was the GTO Tiger Jr. Yep, big full action color shot of a 66 Tempest, the GTO Tiger Jr. 3 wide track Tigers, 2+2 GTO, and OHC6. Yes, this is a Cammer, 66 Tempest Cammer. The overhead inline 6-cylinder overhead cam engine that Pontiac came out with in the mid-60s. Something not very common, something you don't see a lot of even today, but they were actually definitely advertising them as a junior level performance car. Obviously an action shot on a track, right in the middle of the magazine, 2-page color spread. Pontiac was known for this type of advertising back in the mid-60s, obviously with Jim Wangers. I'm sure that was his influence because this is a common type 2-page ad that Pontiac did, but it got your attention. Rally 1 wheels, white with a red rally stripe, red interior, definitely got your attention. Let's flip all the way to the back of the magazine and catch these last couple of ads, and then we're going to look at a couple of classifieds and then get moving on here. So, yep, Bill says like a centerfold. Yep, that's for sure. I know I missed some of the comments on the El Camino and the Michelin tire ad. I apologize for some of that stuff. kind of trying to keep rolling here to get through all this stuff. So, but the back cover was actually all Ford. Inside the back cover, okay, you can stop asking why doesn't Mustang bolt Cruise-O-Matic behind the 271 solid lifter V8? Now Mustang stampedes onto the scene with Cruise-O-Matic, teamed up with a 271 horsepower solid lifter V8 as a new option for 1966. Here, at last, is the memorable high-performance machine that you're not afraid to let your wife drive to the supermarket. Ford's 289 cubic inch V8 in Cobra trim was already something of a living, fire-breathing legend. The hard part was finding an automatic strong and flexible enough to handle it. So, touting the automatic now being available in the Mustang Coupe with the high horse 289. So, and the back cover, also a Mustang deal or Ford deal, but primarily all Mustang. And this is a really cool ad, actually. Give your car a GT flair. Your Ford dealer has the goods. This is an accessories ad, but it's a great ad. Design your own GT. Here are some of the things your Ford dealer has waiting for you. Special GT-style road lamps, $24.40. Manufacturer suggested retail price. Installation charges, state or local taxes extra. They had fine print in 1966 as well. Simulated hand-rubbed wood steering wheel, wheel only, $65. Chromed steel wheels, $37.65 a piece. Cobra tax from $34.30. Racing mirrors, $6.75 a piece. Mustang Rally Pack, $74.10. Assortment of rally stripe kits from $3.80. From the most exotic induction kits to appearance items, your Ford dealer is the man to see. Great ad with a lot of color and a lot of cool accessories. But they still have their fine print down here at the bottom, even in 1966. So, number one was the simulated wood or the hand rub or the rubbing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they were going with that one. So, a lot of El Camino fans on here, that's for sure. Jeff Tanner's look like K-code engines. Yeah, probably so. So, anyway, let's catch a couple of classified ads real quick. And remember, we're in 1966 when we're looking at these. So, but that's why it's so great to look at it. They don't have prices on all of them, but we're going to catch a few of them that do. From the Swap Shop from April of 1966 in Car Life. Car Life is ready to swap. You put your own classified ad in. It's got the order form here to fill out your information and send in your own ad on a vehicle you had for sale. But what do we have available in April of 1966? Kind of some weird stuff, some neat stuff. 1932 Aston Martin International Le Mans Tour. Excellent condition and completely original. Recent engine overhaul. Good top side curtains. 5 new tires. $3,800. I don't know what a 32 Aston Martin's worth, but I'm sure it's worth pretty good money today. Rusty Nails was born in 67, so 1941 Cadillac Limousine, rebuilt V8, stick transmission, 2 new tires, electric partition, mechanically perfect, inside fair, outside good. $595 picked up a 41 Cadillac Limousine. What else was cool in here that I noticed? This one I'm not sure about, and I should have looked it up. But since we're all big El Camino fans, General Motors New York Show El Camino, sterling silver, hand-tooled leather, calfskin interior, golden tint over mother of pearl paint, 327, undercarriage chrome and black, wrinkle finish, every factory option, only show car ever released, will insure and convoy to any point in U.S., no miles, $10,000. So it, there again, I don't know anything about that car. Don't know if it still exists, but you guys are getting thirsty though. But $10,000 was a ton of money in 66. That loaded up new 300 was only like 5,500. So it was like twice what a loaded up Chrysler would have cost you. Let's see. 1941 Lincoln Continental Hardtop Coupe. Those are cool. V12, good original condition, complete, runs well. 5 new tires and 6 boxes of spare parts. $800 for 41 Lincoln. Here's a car that definitely caught my attention compared to what we'd see now. 1952 Nash Healey. Those things are super cool little roadsters. Farina body, original condition, 16,000 miles. Original top tires, engine never overhauled, real classic. Best offer over $2,500. So, like I said, some cool stuff. 1965 Stingray convertible, Nassau blue, probably one of my favorite colors on a mid-year Corvette, Nassau blue. Black top and interior, 350 horse, 4-speed, Positrack, AM, FM. $3,500 for a 65 Corvette convertible, which at that time was almost a new car. That's the crazy thing about it. That was essentially still a brand new car at that point. So, like I said, that's about it. Not a lot else in the classified. Like I said, not a big section. That's the entire classified, and a third of the pages their ad trying to get their ad with a form to get you to fill out so they could run your ad. So not a ton of ads in there, but still some really cool stuff. I mean, 52 Nash Healey for $2,500 are awesome. If you've never seen a Nash Healey, they are neat little cars. They had one at Mecum, Kansas City last year that we looked at. It was a pretty cool little car. Number one, did Nassau Blue get renamed to Corvette Blue? I don't know. They change them all the time, so I don't know. I just know they call it Nassau Blue in the mid-'60s on the mid-years. But there we have it. The April 1966 issue of Car Life. Chevrolet versus Ford, Battle of the Sixes, the Comet Cyclone GT, Big Wind or Little Breeze, plus Measuring the Drag Strip Mustang. We looked at all of those articles tonight. Norman liked the magazine tonight. Pete liked the magazine tonight. So I'm glad you guys did. Like I said, and we skipped a lot of stuff that was in there. There's just no way to get to all of it. But I'm glad you guys dug it because there was a lot of cool stuff in it tonight. So glad you guys liked it as much as I did. Big job. Fuel oil was so cheap in 74. The town gravel pit was ordered. My dad to oil the town road, and 2,000 gallons of new diesel fuel was put down from an oil man. So a lot of positive response to the Car Life of April of 1966. So thanks. Glad you liked it. Like I said, we'll do another one next week. Always great to look back with 2020 vision or 2020 hindsight and see what may or may not have happened based on what they were telling us in April of 1966. So. Kenny, $2,800 buys you a new 67 VW. Jeff Taylor, we're all living the car life. That's true. So let's move forward a little bit to trivia, the raffle, some new inventory. We got a few things to talk about yet tonight. As always, we're putting the trivia on a timer, a 90-second timer. Just for the simple fact that if we don't, people just go back and start going through videos till they find it. We sit here for 5 minutes while people are looking through videos. Alec digs it too on Facebook. So lots of thumbs up for the magazine tonight. And glad you guys liked it. So we'll see what we can find for next week. On the raffle this week, remember we did not have a winner last week, so we've still got the can that we got from Pole Barn Garage when Dalton was out here and picked up the rolled runner. The tire patch can from Hauling Shed, fixed tight rubber repair kit. This is a metal can, probably 60s, maybe 70s, from the RM Hauling Shed Corporation in Camden, New Jersey. George, love the show. Excuse me. Don't know how you find time, but greatly appreciate it. Well, I build it Saturday nights, usually between 10 o'clock and midnight. On Saturday night is when I build it. Because I do go through and make all my notes, try to halfway be organized for you guys. I don't always do a great job, but I try to at least put something decent together, something to work off of that you guys will enjoy and be willing to participate in. John, going to need to give you a shout soon, putting a list together to parts. Oh, on the 59 Rambler. So I've got a Rambler wagon that I think actually is a 59. It's a 59 or 60. No, I think it's a 60. I've got a 58 and I've got a 60. I don't have a 59 wagon in the big car. I don't have any American wagons, but I believe you said it was the big Rambler. I've got a 58 and I've got a 60, but I don't have a 59 in those Rambler wagons. So I've got some of that stuff that will interchange. But on the Hauling Shed fixed tight metal can, it's got the serrations on the top. It's got some stuff in it. And like I said, 90 seconds. If we don't get a winner this week, we'll save the candle next week. But we got to make it a little trickier so that we're just not sitting here twiddling our thumbs as people are going through videos looking for the answer. So, Kenny, 58 River Car bumper is the answer. Nope, don't think that's it. But some of you probably will get this because there were a few comments on the video that it came out of, so we'll see if anybody was really paying attention. In the video on the sheet metal I'm buying from my buddy's place, what was the convertible top assembly for that I am getting? And we are on 90-second timer. What does that convertible top assembly fit? William just wants to buy it. So, well, if nobody ever wins it, we may have to do that. But what does that convertible top assembly fit? David W. was first with the 73 GM. Anything 71 to 76 GM is what it was. So, yeah. So David was the first one in there. David W. on that era of GM. So we'll get David noted down here, and have to give me a shout with your information when you get a minute, David, and we'll get that can on the way to you. So lots of people in there that were hitting in that 71 to 76 GM range, but David was first with that one on the convertible top assembly. So I didn't know how tricky that was going to be, but after I got William's thirsty. Sorry about that, William. After you guys jumped on and had all the comments about the video, I figured, well, somebody's going to get it. So that's what I figured somebody was going to get it this time. So we'll get that on the way out to David W. William's still trying to buy it. So I have to talk to David about that one. Raffle time. Let's talk about the raffle. Rusty Nelson's spell check got him. Yeah, that happens. The raffle this month, like we talked about last week, on the Atlantic Imperial pump plate. I think it's aluminum. The Imperial is embossed. The Atlantic is a sticker. Cool piece. Let's measure it real quick for you guys. 17 by 13. Great size, great display piece. Who is in as of right now? Some of you guys sent it in with your payments last week. Kenny Peterson is in. David Woodcox is in. Oh, and yeah, and David also, I need your address on the shirt. That was not in on the PayPal note, so I need your address on the shirt as well. So David Woodcox, my dad is in. I didn't realize he wanted one, but he told me the other day he actually wanted it. And I was like, should have told me that before we announced the raffle. So he's in pretty heavy. Well, actually, a lot of you guys are getting in pretty heavy right out of the gate on this one. Yes, Tweedledee, June 5th is when we decided on doing the raffle. That is correct. So you've got a couple of weeks to get in on this one, but don't forget about it. A lot of times guys do forget until it's too late, especially if you want a mail payment. You can use PayPal Friends and Family or mail payment, check, money order. Some guys just throw 10 or 20 bucks in the mail. Doesn't matter to me. It's all the same. So, as well as Zach Thompson is in. So that's who I got paid for this week. Kenny Peterson, David Woodcox, my dad, Steve Ehrlich, and Zach Thompson are in right now. Norma says she's sending hers in with the money for the tag. Perfect. Not a problem at all. That works out great. So those names are in right now. Now, the next thing you guys are probably wondering about, what's the second prize going to be? And actually, at 10, we give 3 away. At 20, we give 4 away. We've already got 4 in. David W. is going to email me. That's perfect. That will work excellently. So we're almost halfway there. So we're probably going to be giving away at least 3 prizes, but I always guarantee you we're going to pull 2 names out of the hat. What's the second prize going to be for this week? It's going to be the mobile upper lube. We did auction this real early in the auction. The guy didn't pay for it. Thought, well, that's actually, kind of would make a really good second prize. It is metal. It's a little bit faded, but it's got the Pegasus on it. Actually, I should rub over this with a little bit of rubbing compound, and this would look a lot better. If I take a little rubbing compound to this, I may try to do that. But this will be going out to the second winner. It's got some directions on the back. But obviously, anything with the Pegasus on it is epic. I love anything with the Pegasus. That's right, as opposed to the lower lube, Jason. That's totally correct. So, Zach, probably throw a little more in with his payment on tonight auction wins. Not a problem, Zach. We'll make sure we just make sure you note, how much you want on there. So make sure I get everything figured correctly and don't miss one of your auction items or something. But we'll definitely get you in on that. So this is going to be the second name coming out of the big Buick oil can on June the 5th. Right there. There's the sheets of everybody that's in. Let's get her filled up. $1 a chance. Every dollar you send me goes into the big Buick oil can one time. You send me $5, you're in 5 times, $10, 10 times, etc., etc. Simulated rubbing compound. Now I use 3M on most of that stuff. Nice fine grit 3M will really shine that thing up. So, but looking forward to it. It's a cool piece. It's going to be a good raffle. Like I said, I got a couple guys that are already getting pretty serious about this one, so it might be interesting. But we'll be giving that away, plus the mobile upper lube can. And with already 4 people in, and already several people said that they're sending it in, we will probably I'll probably just need to make sure I get a third piece dug out, ready to announce by tomorrow or for next weekend, so we know what the third name's going to get. And like I said, we may be going 4 again. We did 4 pieces last time, and it was a lot of fun. Just depends on how many people we get in on this month's raffle. So. Now, what else is going on? New inventory this week. Like I said, I had something cool to talk about on new inventory that involved a long roof. Long roof, small car. So, but what did I pick up this week? I picked up something that you at first glance is not that exciting. I'll go ahead and do it on a video. I'll probably do it on something else. But about an 87 Taurus. I picked up about an 87 Taurus. You saw a glimpse of it on that big load that I bought. And really, it's it's not anything super exciting, but there again, think about the guys that have those SHOs and stuff like that. It's about an 87. It's an antique. It technically is a 1987 is an antique. It might be an 88 or 89, but it's literally in that window of what is an antique now. As crazy as that sounds. Frank, can I run raffle entries by the yard? You'll just have to call me and make sure I'm around. If I'm around, yeah, not a problem. If you're coming through town. Or, if I'm going to see you at the Hutch Swap Meet on Friday, if you're going to be at the Hutch Swap Meet on Friday, be sure to give me a call. You can catch me there too. Actually, one of our winners, the winner of the license plate at the last raffle, he paid me at the Wichita Swap Meet, and he won the license plate out of the last raffle. So that's fine too. You'll be at the Hutch Swap Meet, or if you're coming through town, you can always call me and drop it off. So Alex going to throw his in with his auction wins tonight. Perfect. So. That all works good. So the 87 Taurus, like I said, I'm still going to sit it out in the road because the guys restoring SHOs are still going to need parts and pieces. Those were all 4-doors, so the SHOs were 4-doors. And there again, that first generation body style Ford Taurus, when's the last time you saw one? Not very often. So put her out in the road, and you never know. Somebody may need something off of it. Picked up a 38 Chevy truck this week. That was the last one out of that load out in western Kansas, out on the Kansas prairie, where the 57 Roadmaster came from, as well as the 60 Parkwood and the 36 Chrysler and the 37 Ford 2-door sedan. So that was pretty much just a cab and a frame, but I had to go get it. That was part of the deal. I had to pick up all the stuff, so I got that one done this week. Now the exciting thing, well, I think it's kind of exciting. It's really not that exciting compared to looking at, Hemi Belvederes and Chrysler 300s and stuff in the magazine tonight. But I picked up a little car, and I told you if you guys about 3 weeks ago I had this thing found and got it bought. I went and got it yesterday or Friday. I went and got it Friday. And there again, it's crazy to think that it's 40 years old or 42 years old now. But it's definitely a car that nobody ever thought about keeping. Scott's bugging out, but it was a great show. Thanks for being here, Scott. And it's a pretty slick little car. But there again, you guys are probably going to laugh at me when I tell you what it is. But we'll get some videos up on it. Tweedly, the only car that Ford makes is the Mustang now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Kenny, thanks for another good show. He's got to sign out. Glad you made it. But these are cars that were never saved, and this thing's pretty slick. 1980 Ford Pinto station wagon. Yep, I picked up a 1980 Pinto wagon on Friday, 69,000 miles, red on red, original dealership invoice, or the sales ticket still in the glove box. So pretty cool thing. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I've been sitting for about 10 or 12 years in this building. I got some content of it in the video in the building where we found it before we moved it out, covered in dust. They parked it. The last tag was 12, but she said she hadn't been driving it. It was driving it very sparingly before that. So I know it's been sitting for 10 or 12 years at least, but she did say when I bought it that, hey, we do start it occasionally. If we need to move it, we just throw a battery in it and it usually starts. So we shoved it out of the garage, trailered it at home, rinsed it off, and threw a battery in it and hit it with some starting fluid. Boom, she fired up. So I still got some stuff to do to it. Need to check everything over. I'm not going to go take off tearing across town in it right out of the gate. Alex says complete car. Yeah, it's a totally complete car all the way down to all 4 original hubcaps and the Shawnee Mission Ford dealer badge still on the back tailgate. So big job. Eclipse right now on the moon. So peek outside if you're near a window. Check out the moon. Lori in 1987, I drove a 1980 Pinto in baby blue, but a Pinto with a 302 is a bad machine. Jason had a Mercury Bobcat. George says very cool. So yeah, it's a totally complete running, driving 1980 Pinto station wagon in red on red. It's an automatic, and that's about it. I think it's got a radio in it. But, the headliner's nice. There's a little bit of wear on the left seat, and the right front fender has some damage. Like somebody backed into it, and they popped it back out. Steve wants an Astro wagon. Roger's on with us. So like I said, I've got the video, and I'll probably put up the video where I found it and then washing it. I'll probably stitch all that stuff together and throw that up. And then after I kind of, I'll do some content as I'm, as we're checking it over. And things like that as see what it needs. Must be low on tranny fluid because it wouldn't go into gear right and some things like that. I hope it's low on tranny fluid. I hope it has everything majorly wrong with it. Pete, my mom had an 80 Pinto with a 4-speed and a sunroof. Fun, but super slow. Jason, wood grain? Nope, no wood grain. It's all solid red. Red everywhere. But the headliner's nice. It's got this funky little dome light right up by the rear view mirror in the center of the windshield on the roof that still works. It's just a cool, funky little car that, you just don't see anymore. There again, it was a Pinto. Who saved him? Who cared? Nobody cared. Nobody saved him. Didn't matter to anybody. But that's what's cool about this. It's original paint, original interior, 69,000 miles. It's got a stack of receipts about that thick in the glove box that I haven't even gone through to see what work has been done to the car over the years. But cool little ride. I don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but I'm kind of excited about it. And it's just, like I said, nobody ever kept that stuff. So it was cool to find one, in that original condition with those miles that actually started up after I got it home. So we'll get you the preliminary videos of finding it and washing it maybe up this week. I don't know. I've got a bunch of stuff I got to show you guys. So many cool cars that we haven't even looked at yet. Zach says most of them blew up when they got rear-ended. Those were the earlier ones, the 71s, 2s, 3s, right in there where the gas tank issue was at. I think they had most of that fixed by 80. However, the reputation still was so bad for them that I still think that held them back. So let's see. Rusty Nails, rain in there, so no Eclipse. Old school. Did you see Dennis Collins bought a mint original 55 Corvette? I did not see that. No, I didn't see that one. Jason, I got a Pinto badge on my wall right here in the living room. Yep. So, like I said, it's kind of corny, but I'm kind of excited about it just because it's so different, but so original. And it's a bright red Pinto. Just something that, usually a Pinto had to be some terrible color like brown or green or something. But it's a bright red Pinto, complete all the way down to the original dealer sales invoice and the dealer badge still on the back. So excited to show that one to you guys as well. I think you guys are going to like it. Let's see what else we got popping up here. George, I drove a 78 with a 302. It was pretty quick. This is a 4-cylinder. I don't see this thing being very quick unless it's downhill with a 60-mile-an-hour tailwind. So, but it's still a neat car. Jeff says Steel Ponies, very few around. What a find. Yeah, that's what they made a lot of them, but nobody kept Pintos. Who's ever going to want a Pinto? Who's ever going to care? Well, I've seen some at auctions do pretty well, and this car's a pretty neat little ride. So, you have any old Corvettes on the lot? Not a lot. I've got bits and pieces of a few, but not a ton. Alex out for this week. See y'all next week. Glad you hung out for quite a while tonight, Alex, or pretty much the whole thing. We're about wrapped up. I don't have a lot of Corvette stuff. I've got a few mid-70s, a 72 and a 76. I've got a mangled up 66 frame. I've got mangled bits and pieces of a 69 427 Roadster, but just nothing that amounts to anything really on Corvette stuff. Never have really pursued it that much, so don't have a ton of it. We've got several Corvettes. I've got one that I had in high school that hasn't run in decades. Dad's got several Corvettes, but just not a lot of them in the yard. So Jason says he'd take it for a daily. Big Job says put a V8 in it. Old school, what's the cheapest Corvette to buy? An 84? Probably. That's what mine is. An 84. And you can buy those cars for $6-8 a pretty nice car. So yeah, those are pretty reasonable. Tweedly D's back. Had to go check out the moon. Terry says good show. Thanks. As always, learn something new. That's for sure. Zach, any 59 Buicks on the lot? There are 3 out there, I believe. A LeSabre 4-door sedan, a LeSabre 4-door hardtop, and an Electra 4-door hardtop. I think there's 3 of them, if I remember. I know there's those 3. I think there's just 3. So 359 Buick, Zach. Jeff, great show as usual. Thanks. Good night, everybody. So, yeah, and we are about ready to wrap up. What's coming up on videos? I've still got to show you the 68 El Camino. I've still got to show you the 71 Mustang. I've still got to do the video on the Y job. I've got the video on all that other big, huge load of sheet metal that we haven't seen yet. Obviously, I just picked up the Taurus, the Pinto, the 38 Chevy truck. Plus, we haven't seen the 37 Ford. We haven't seen the 68 Torino Squire wagon yet. So yeah, I'm getting behind on some stuff, but that's what's cool. We got so much stuff coming in. It's awesome. So it's a lot of fun. Tony, have a great week. Great show tonight. Appreciate it. And, that pretty much catches what I have for tonight. That pretty much gets through my list for episode number 112. 112 times we've done this. Huge thanks for all of you coming back week after week, making this thing what it is, inviting your friends, sharing the videos, getting people involved. We have a great group on here. We have a ton of fun. Everything we do on here is fun. I hope you guys are learning something from me. I know I'm learning from you guys and your input, and that's always great. It's Tweedledee 79 Ford pickup on the lot. I've got 2 78 79s that are mostly intact, both regular cab, long bed, half tons. Those are the only 2 in 73 and 79 that I've got that are still intact enough to do something with. If you need parts, I've got a handful of them. Just depends on whether you need parts or a whole truck. Let's see. Big job. Remember, you're nobody till somebody loves you. So. Norma, great show as always. Just love what we're doing here. Thank you for your time. Old school, I'm learning, but I forget. So, well, maybe that'll help. Zach, be in touch tomorrow. Great, perfect. Great show tonight. Thank you. We'll catch a few more Hudson badges. We're getting ready to start wrapping up because it always takes a few minutes to wrap up as we get through the rest of the comments that people throw in here at the end. Tweedledee checking for his older brother has a 79. Okay, sounds good. Eloy, see everybody Tuesday. That's right. Toy Tuesday. We'll do 7 o'clock Tuesday evening. I've got still got stuff from the Lawrence swap meet to check out. Talking about the Essex. We talked about the Essex a little bit ago. I've got an epic Hudson Essex sign coming in that I don't know if I'll pick it up before Tuesday, but that's coming up on a Toy Tuesday coming to you soon. It's kind of rough, surface rusty, but the reason it's surface rusty because it's smolts. That's how early this thing is. So super excited about that. You guys are going to dig that for sure. George, have a great week. Bud, what's up with the gray Fox body car you bought at the farm auction? Gray box body. I assume that's the 84 Impala. I've just got it sitting here, bud. I'm probably going to part it out since it's a complete car. That's another car we haven't showed you, the 9C1 Caprice. I haven't even done a video on the 9C1 Caprice to show that to you guys either. So I got that car to share with you. So that 84 Impala is just going to go out in the road as a parts car. Jeff does have a great week. Bill, 53 GMC Workhorse. That's right, Bill. I did get the pictures of your Ford that you want to trade in on the 53 GMC. So give me a shout or give me a call, or I'll try to give you a call tomorrow if I get a minute, and we'll see if we can work out some details on trading your Ford in on that 53 GMC. So you can get that thing down and start messing with it. Sal, any checkers? No checkers at all. I don't have any checkers here. Being in central Kansas, the taxi cab market was never very big in my area. So checkers are something that I've never had. In fact, I've never owned a checker, period. So can't help you out at all with anything on a checker. So anyway, Hudson badge. I guess that'll pretty much do it for this week, episode number 112 of Sunday Night Shenanigans, that we like to call Sunday Night Live Chat. As always, if you have questions like some of you we've talked about, number is in the text number is in the text of the text part of this video. After we get done, you can click on it. My number's on there. PayPal information, friends and family only. That's the only way I'll take it because of the way PayPal has changed some rules over the last year. T-shirt information is on there. You can use PayPal or check or money order for T-shirts, raffle entries, pay for your auction items, PayPal friends and family, check, money order, cash, whatever works. Just let me know, and we'll make it happen. And make sure whenever you do it, because we're dealing with auction items, we're dealing with raffle items, we're dealing with T-shirts, be sure to put a note either with your payment on PayPal, or if you're mailing it, what it's for. Make sure your shipping info and contact info is in with all your payments, please, so I know what it is and what I need to send you, or if you just need to get in the raffle or all that. With the auction items, are a ton of fun, but it does get very confusing for me trying to keep track of all of it. So please help me by putting that information on your PayPal or with your payment when you send it in. Big job. Checkers were chunked for their weight. Yeah, that's true. They were pretty heavy. Pete, enjoyed as always. Have a great week. All you nobodies. Hudson badge. Bill, good show. Don't forget the eclipse don't do eclipse except for the Hudson badge. So that will do it for me. We're going to wrap this one up and call it good for Sunday, May 15th of episode number 112. As always, thanks for being here tonight, everybody. All of your participation is what makes this thing what it is. It's your help. It's your acknowledgement. It's you getting on here every week and hanging out and having a good time. Makes this what the chat is. Me sitting here in front of my computers, in front of webcams, would be pretty boring by myself. So thanks to all of you for making what it is. Norma's already got her check made out and ready to go. So Rusty Nail's got his checker's going to make a demo car out of it. That wouldn't make much sense. That'd be kind of a waste of a good checker. But like I said, lots of cool videos coming up to this week. I don't even know what I'm going to get up, but there's a ton of them to do. I know you guys want to see the Pinto, so I'll try to get that one done, at least the first video up sometime this week. And as always, we will see you 7 o'clock Tuesday evening live on YouTube only. If you're on Facebook, please remember that Toy Tuesday is only on YouTube. I do share the videos over eventually onto the Nobody Show page, but to be on live with us on Tuesday evenings to check out toys, memorabilia, gas, and oil on Toy Tuesday, you will need to be on the YouTube channel Nobody Show. Couple more comments popping up. Let's make sure we didn't miss anybody. That's right. Jeff says nobody's are great somebodies. Tweedledee, have a nice week. See you Tuesday. Norma says see you Tuesday. Looks like we are caught up on Facebook as well. Apologize because I know I'm going to miss some comments. There are always a few that pop up as soon as I click the end button, but that's all we can do. Sometimes we are at the mercy of the system. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for coming by tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for making this thing what it is. It's your participation that makes it what it is. We'll see you Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, and we absolutely definitely hope to see you here next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time for Sunday Night Live Chat. We'll have more Sunday Night Shenanigans next week. Hope to see you then. Have a great week, everybody.